following is a presentation of the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports.
But our ACC Network game takes us to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Bottom of the hour, Kenan Memorial Stadium, NC State and North Carolina, two teams that are bowl eligible, and the Heels trying to win their third in a row against the Pack. We'll discuss that and so much more on the Blitz. And we welcome you to the ACC Blitz, powered by Ram Trucks. Tom Wormy along with the coach, Tommy Bowden. It is the final week of the regular season. We have had a wonderful time this year on the ACC Blitz, talking about all the great student athletes and their performances, and what a great way to wrap up the season. It is rivalry weekend. And if anybody knows about rivalries, it is this guy right here is the head coach of the Clemson Tigers, 7-2 against the rival Gamecocks. Tell us about this weekend, this day, coach, for these teams and players.
Tom, when these coaches tell you it's just another game, don't listen to them. It is a lie. The rivalry games stay with you 365 days a year. The other ones, just 7 days. When I beat South Carolina, I could go out. I could go to restaurants. I could go to picture shows. I mean, I could go out in the public.
A movie, you mean?
Yeah, movie.
Okay.
Picture shows.
You were the star of the area when you were winning for Clemson, South Carolina. And then we'll talk about all those rivalry games coming up in just a minute. Here is the entire schedule. It's our ACC Network game. Tim, Dave, and Rachel have the call from Chapel Hill. Georgia Tech and Georgia, told you about that just kicking off. Kentucky and Louisville, and the Cardinals have won 3 in a row in this series, and they've already mixed it up a little bit before the opening kickoff, Coach.
Louisville, who hosts Kentucky, is looking for their 9th win. They are still in the hunt for the Orange Bowl. Kentucky, who had an open date last week, must win to become bowl eligible. Gamecocks
and Tigers just about set to kick off. Syracuse at Boston College. That's at the bottom of the hour. Florida against Florida State. That one is at 3:30, Coach. And Florida State's won 27 games in a row. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Wake at Duke. How about this? Wake has not lost at Wallace-Wade Stadium since 1999.
Wake Forest is 3-8, relies on a strong defense. They're 38th in the nation, giving up 362 yards a game. Duke, 8-3, also relies on their defense, only giving up 20 points a game, and offensive explosiveness of wide receiver Jamison Crowther.
And our ACC Network game coming up at the bottom of the hour. It is NC State going on the road at North Carolina. We go to Kenan Memorial Stadium with Rachel Barbeau for more on this one.
Thanks, Tom. Welcome to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where NC State takes on UNC today. And there is no love lost between these two teams, as evidenced by the statement of NC State safety Hakeem Jones earlier in the week on quarterback Marquise Williams. He said, "I think a lot of him," he went on to say. "Once you hit him a few times, he's going to hesitate going to the hole. He's going to start thinking of other options." I asked Marquise yesterday about his comments, and he said, "I just chuckled." He said, "I don't usually respond to things like that. I understand that these jabs are going to happen in football, and I let my play on the field speak for itself." Another key to the game this week will be the UNC defense. According to coaches and players, they started to turn around in the second half of the Pitt game, and they kept that going against rival Duke last Thursday. Now, the UNC offense had a couple of turnovers, but the defense was able to save those turnovers for points. And Larry Fedora told us yesterday they'd like to bottle whatever happened last Thursday and before that, and he hopes they bring it today. Tom?
Rachel, thank you. We look forward to that game at the bottom of the hour. NC State and North Carolina. Marquise Williams, the quarterback for North Carolina. So impressive in the last 6 games, Coach. He's averaging 362 yards of total offense. 21 touchdowns, either passing or rushing for Marquise and the Heels.
That Hakeem Jones, that safety, NC State, weighs about 200. Marquise Jones, 240. He averages 4.5 yards a carry. Right now, 65 yards a game. That's 6 first down. So it's going to be interesting to see who finds who when he gets out of the pocket.
North Carolina has won 2 in a row, 4 of its last 5. This is what they did last season. They came on strong in the second half of the season to become bowl eligible. Both of these teams are already bowl eligible at 6-5. Marquise Williams, the starting quarterback for the Heels, second in passing in the conference. He's part of our ACC Network game at the bottom of the hour. Ryan Switcher is one of the stars to watch at our ACC Network game, and we'll be back after a word from our local station.
Dadgum thank you, and a dadgum pleasure.
It is a dadgum feast after Thanksgiving. Our ACC Network game with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback for NC State is coming up in just moments on the ACC Network.
Today's show has been powered by Ram Trucks.
Folks, we thank you for watching the ACC Blitz all season long. We had a blast. It is time to go to Chapel Hill. Tim, Dave, and Rachel have the call. NC State and North Carolina.
Thanks, Tom. Rivalry week comes to Chapel Hill as one of the best quarterbacks in the conference, Marquise Williams, looks to lead the Tar Heels to their third straight win against their neighbors to the east. But the Wolfpack have a gunslinger of their own. Jacoby Brissett hopes to make his first experience in the backyard brawl a happy one for the Wolfpack fans.
That's what championship teams do, because it ain't always easy. Find a way, do whatever it takes, and I will not fail.
Hey, I'm Gavin DeGraw. You're watching the ACC Network. Who will be crowned this year's champion?
We are the champions.
Tar Heels. Carolina head coach Larry Fedora has never lost to NC State. The Tar Heels beat Duke last week. Today, they're going for the mythical state championship. For the 104th time, the Wolfpack of NC State and the Tar Heels of North Carolina in Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill. All-time great quarterbacks Roman Gabriel and Phillip Rivers are just two of the legends who have played in this great game. And for the Tar Heels, Julius Peppers and famous Amos Lawrence. Who will shine today? We're about to find out. And hello again, everybody. I'm Tim Brand along with Dave Archer. Glad to have you along. Rivalry weekend. Let's start with Carolina. Boy, they've got a good quarterback in Marquise Williams.
So goes, as North Carolina goes, so goes Marquise Williams. Marquise is a guy that has all the numbers. In fact, he's one of only 7 quarterbacks in the country that lead his team in both passing and rushing. Now, you can add up all the numbers, and they certainly add up to an all-ACC performance. In fact, maybe even Player of the Year consideration. But how about the things you can't measure? Toughness, will to win. In fact, Larry Fedora points to leadership. That's what he thinks stands out. And how do you measure leadership? The guys around him raising their level of the ability to play. And TJ Logan is one of those guys. Over 200 yards the last 2 weeks. In fact, 116 yards against rival Duke on a week ago Thursday night. So both those guys need to play big.
Now, on the other side of the field, the Wolfpack have a tremendous quarterback as well, Jacoby Brissett, but he's playing his first ever rivalry game here against Carolina.
Well, he's changed the fortunes of NC State football as well because of the confidence level that he raises his teammates around. Jacoby Brissett has been outstanding with his numbers. He's taking care of the football. His accuracy has been outstanding, but the thing that North Carolina fears the most is his ability to get out of the pocket and create something that isn't necessarily there. And they finally have a supporting cast. Shadrach Thornton stepped up last week. Their first 100-yard rusher of the season a couple of weeks ago against Wake Forest. They'll need Shadrach Thornton. They'll need everybody. It's a young football team, and Jacoby Brissett is going to depend on these guys to play big.
Let's go down on the field to Rachel Barbeau. She's got more on the special teams, and it's Ryan Switzer of North Carolina who gives them an edge.
Guys, we don't normally talk about special teams, but there's spectacular players on either side of the field for these units today. And you mentioned Ryan Switzer, Tim. Last year, he tied the NCAA record for punt returns for touchdowns with 5. This season, he hasn't had any. But he told us yesterday, I've been watching a lot of film on myself and on the NC State punter, Will Ballman. Will Ballman leads the ACC in punts, and he's been a weapon for NC State for the past 4 years. Now, it was just 2 years ago that Gio Bernard took one back, took one to the house, a punt return for the game winner for UNC. So watch for that third phase of the game today, special teams.
A classic matchup when you talk about the 5th best punter in the country against an All-American punt returner a year ago. They're hoping to get a little punch, is Larry Fedora, out of their punt return unit today.
They're jumping already. ACC football is brought to you in high definition by your local Tire Pros dealer. For service you can trust without the hassle. Visit pros at tirepros.com. Carolina won the toss, elected to defer, so we will see the defense on the field first. And for NC State, they'll try to get this going with a little giddy up early, a little spice. Nichols will be back for NC State, and Nick Weiler will kick off. Weiler, number 24, has got a strong leg. And this Thanksgiving weekend is underway. NC State and North Carolina. Nichols with the return brings it back to the 20, and that's where the Wolfpack will start. Here are the starting lineups brought to you by Food Lion.
Big fella up front. It's a good offensive line. Tyson Chandler anchors that group. Outstanding backfield with the number of guys that have played. Matt Days has been solid, but Bo Hines, the freshman, leads his team in receiving, and he has really been that security blanket for Jacoby Brissett this season. Did an outstanding job of catching the football. 40 receptions for Bo Hines.
Jacoby Brissett's a big one, too.
And he's done a nice job taking care of the football. He's been very accurate. The fear is, we talked about it off the top, is his ability to extend plays.
6'4", 231, throws on first down, has it complete. He's out close to the first down marker. Greenwich made a nice catch on the slant, picks up 12, move the chains.
Well, you look at this North Carolina defense played extremely well about 10 days ago against Duke. Nasir Jones has done a nice job in that defensive front look. When you look at what they're doing with the rotation, Nasir doesn't necessarily get the start, but he's a guy that's going to play a prominent role in front of those linebackers that are sideline to sideline.
That's a terrific start for State. Gives them a little confidence in that first down in a hurry. Here's the give. This is Thornton. He's out to the 39-yard line. So pickup of 6. And the Wolfpack offense is on the move.
Tim, 2 good opening plays. You got the throw to Greenwich, the sophomore tight end. Then Shadrack Thornton immediately established himself after a nice day 2 weeks ago against Wake Forest. Over 100 yards rushing. Pops one out there for 7 yards.
Both of these teams bowl eligible. NC State coming off a bye week. Had a little extra time to prepare for Carolina. Carolina also had a long week because they played a Thursday night game over at Duke. Here's Brissett going after the deep ball, and it is incomplete. It was intended for Greenwich, but great coverage by Malik Simmons.
Yeah, and Simmons is right in the hip pocket of Greenwich. Now, it's a great matchup for NC State. Greenwich is 6'6". He goes up, and he actually had a second chance at the football with the right hand. Simmons is able to knock it away, but taking a shot down the field against man coverage.
Brissett has struggled a little bit on his long passes since the Florida State game, which he was sensational in.
Well thrown ball there, though. He put his guy up to bat. That's all you can ask for.
Brings up 3rd down. Days comes in for the State Wolfpack. A long 4 yards needed. Backside pressure. Brissett goes through it. Out close to the first down. Has it. Across midfield. Still on his feet. And goes out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Tim Scott finally chased him out, but there's the size we just talked about.
Well, Tim, this is what they were worried about. He's not such a runner by design. It's when things break down. Good pressure by North Carolina initially, and then how about the move on Schottmer by Brissett to get up the field? We talked to Larry Fedora yesterday, and their biggest concern about Brissett, they knew he was a good solid packet passer, was his ability to make plays down the field.
Brissett broke through the first 2 tacklers, then picked up 19. Size and speed. Cherry goes to the top of the screen. Instead, they go straight ahead with Days. Absolutely nothing there that time. Justin Thomason gets the credit for the tackle.
Now, Tim Scott up in there as well. They're trying to put that extra safety in the box, or extra player in the box. And Tim Scott is a guy that played corner, moved to safety. He's had his struggles, played well against Duke last week, and he's a guy that's willing to come down in that box and make some plays.
Talked about both teams being bowl eligible already, but there's still a lot to play for here today. Improve their favorability for the bowls, and there are a lot of bowl folks here watching this game today. Brissett throws. It's the quick out. Samuels breaks the tackle. He's up close to the first down marker. Looks like he got it.
Well, good job of slipping Jalen Samuels, the freshman, out into flat. In fact, this is his first reception of the year. Catches the ball out of the backfield. So a wrinkle that North Carolina had not seen out of the freshman Jalen Samuels. A celebrated career in high school at Mallard Creek. Phenomenal runner. Great catch right there.
7th play of the drive for NC State. Doing a fine job keeping the ball away from the Tar Heels. Left side, this is Days. Days around the corner. Again, a big gainer on first down. Schottmer chased him down.
Well, Matt Days' versatility has been outstanding for NC State. Over 300 yards rushing, over 300 yards receiving, 5 touchdowns in each category. In fact, here's a list of guys, Tim. Todd Gurley, DeAnthony Thomas, Giovanni Bernard, Monty Ball, Randall Cobb, DeMarco Murray. How about those names that have that kind of versatility over the last 10 years at the FBS level?
Pretty good list. 2nd down and 4. Play action. Here's the waggle. Goes inside. Look out. The big fella's rolling. And Brissett rambles all the way down close to the 15. They'll mark him at the 17.
Again, not a designed run. This is a bootleg play. Got obviously a run element to it. But he's looking to throw the football down the field. But an outstanding job of getting up the field. Schottmer pulled in by the play fake, trying to get width, and then ultimately has to get in and try to help get Jacoby Brissett on the ground. But Jacoby Brissett really playing on a high level on that impromptu play.
So here goes NC State in the red zone. Bunch formation at the bottom of your screen. They look that way and they take the quarterback draw. 1-on-1 inside the 5. Brissett touchdown, NC State. 17 yards. Hello, Wolfpack.
Only had 2 rushing touchdowns coming into today. This is a designed run for Jacoby Brissett. And how about the little pick he gets from the umpire on Tim Scott? Able to snake it in the end zone. What a great opening drive and tempo setter for the Wolfpack.
Nicholas Sadie comes on for the extra point, one of the best in the country. Leading scorer in NC State history, trying to get another one here. Good snap, good hold. Kick is good. Sadie now has 318 career points, and what a drive. NC State scores first. Jacoby Brissett, the spotlight's on him, and he responds.
ACC football is being brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the ACC. By Geico, official corporate champion of the ACC. By Toyota, official corporate champion of the ACC. And by Ruby Tuesday, official corporate champion of the ACC.
Special day not only for the rivalry, but the Tar Heels are saying goodbye to 9 scholarship players and 24 total seniors here today. Final game in Kenan Stadium. Always emotional.
Well, a special moment for those seniors and a special moment for Jacoby Brissett here. And you mentioned, Tim, his first time he's played in this game, this rivalry game. How about starting the game the way he did? Moving the ball, impromptu runs, 9 plays, 79 yards, and they pound one in the end zone. Outstanding job.
Yeah, no question about it. 3 runs, 45 yards, 2 for 3 through the air for another 22. 67 of those 79 yards on that drive directly related to Jacoby Brissett. Damian Washington is back for the Tar Heels, along with Brian Walker. This will be Washington way deep, and that ball will be down, and they'll bring it out. Let's go back to the studio in Charlotte, check in with Tom and Tommy.
Tim, thanks. It's a Hardee's update. We start with Georgia Tech at Georgia with the Bulldogs up 7-0. But Nick Chubb tries to jump, but he fumbles it. Isaiah Johnson forced the fumble start of the second quarter. Georgia leads 7-0. On to South Carolina and Clemson, coach.
Clemson using a little trickery to attack the perimeter of the South Carolina defense for a touchdown.
53 yards. Artavis Scott, 7-7 in that one.
All right, fellas, thank you very much. Marquise Williams right here with his first carry of the game. First Tar Heel offensive play of the game. They pick up 11, first down. Josh Jones with a tackle, and the Tar Heels start out with a first down.
A designed run here for Marquise Williams. We'll see a lot of this today. Fernandez misses the tackle right there. And that's what Marquise Williams brings to the table, his ability to make people miss. been outstanding. Over 700 yards rushing for the junior quarterback.
Exact same way that the Wolfpack started their drive with a first down. Williams with the long count, play action, looks over the middle, buys some time, throws to his safety valve. That's TJ Logan, and there's not much there. He may have lost a yard. Here are the lineups for North Carolina.
Landon Turner, a fixture up front, and an outstanding job has Matt Collins done to catch the ball down the field. Quinshot Davis in rarefied air. When you start talking about closing in on Akeem Nix's record for touchdown receptions, he's one away.
Food line starting lineups, Quinshot Davis, the key there. Here's Davis with the catch, steps out of bounds, knocked out by Dravius Wright.
Well, just talked about the big receiver on the outside, Quinshot Davis. Outstanding job of climbing the ladder at 6'4", catching the football on the outside. He was big a week ago against Duke.
Sets up third down and about a foot. Flanker screen, first down, Hollins across midfield and into NC State territory.
Look at this NC State defense. Arius Moore is the freshman in the middle. Akeem Jones does a nice job on the back end. Made some news with his comments about North Carolina, but Mike Rose has been outstanding on the outside, opposite Art Norman on that defensive front.
Straight ahead, nothing. Boy, Logan had absolutely nowhere to run. Well defended by the Wolfpack.
Well, Pharaoh McKeever with one of the freshmen, and a lot of freshmen on the field today. He's one of those guys that North Carolina State is excited about their future. McKeever, the redshirt freshman, playing the edge.
Brings up second down and long. Marquise, play action, steps up, looks deep, has a man, Switzer, overthrown. Oh, Ryan Switzer had beaten Burris.
What a good job by Marquise Williams to feel the pressure. He's going to slide up in the pocket to buy a little bit of time. We talked about Rose. There's that pressure. Just did not put enough trajectory air under the ball here to let his big-timer, Ryan Switzer, run under this one. Just not enough trajectory on that ball to let Switzer go get it.
So it'll bring up third down and 10. This is where NC State likes to bring a little bit of pressure. They might bring an extra man, but it doesn't look like the way they've lined up.
North Carolina anticipating that with two backs in the backfield.
They back them off. They show zone. They throw to the open area, but it's low and incomplete. He had pressure back in the backfield and couldn't get a free throw. But that'll bring up fourth down.
Good job by the two edge guys, and a good job by Marquise to slide up, but I think it's T.Y. McGill that ultimately affects the quarterback on the throw. But excellent job, just the front four getting pressure on Marquise Williams to generate that inaccurate throw.
As Rachel said, special teams in this game has always been a factor. Tommy Hibbert, former walk-on from Charlotte, will punt it away, and Bo Hines gets it at the 15, and Fair catches it there. Pretty good hang time, and you'll see that all day long. 35-yard punt. Change of possession. Rivalry's underway. 7-0 State. 8:57 to play in the first.
The biggest rivalry in college football, NC State and North Carolina. It don't get no better than this, and you can't do it without tailgating with Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits.
You know, every time we come to Carolina, the food is great, whether it's Raleigh or Chapel Hill. And hey, this is the last Bojangles tailgate of the regular season. It's bow time at Bojangles. Tailgate everything with a big bow box filled with Bojangles, chicken and biscuits, fixins, and tea. Remember, it's always bow time when you're tailgating. Been bow time all year. Folks, this rivalry started way back in 1894. Grover Cleveland was the president. Shadrack Thornton in the ball game now. First down, NC State. Jacoby Brissett playing with confidence, has already scored one, buys some time, and now goes down hard at the 10-yard line, a loss of 5.
You look at the last drive and the effect Jacoby Brissett had on the game. We talked about this guy, his ability to impromptu ability to pull it down and take off. And when they design one run for him, he's going to get that done as well. An excellent touchdown run to cap the drive. But Jacoby Brissett, Tim, came out and started this game, I think the way Dave Dorn wanted him to, get him involved in the game physically, running the ball.
Second down and 14 for NC State. Cherry and Samuels come to the back of the screen, and then it goes Samuels in motion. They slide it up, look for a hole inside. There's nothing there for Shadrack Thornton. Defense starting to bow its back. Loss of 2.
Well, you can bet defensive coordinator Vic Koenig said, hey, that's not what we did a week ago Thursday night against Duke. So they gathered the troops in 2 good plays defensively. This time they corral Shadrack Thornton and put him on the ground for a loss. So 2 back-to-back plays where the defense played well. You look at this defense for Vic Koenig, 4-2-5. The 2 linebackers using Schotmer outstanding. They've been inconsistent in the back end. This defense has scored 5 times for North Carolina. They can take it away and put it in the end zone.
Third down and long. Pump fake, throws over the middle, batted down. He was looking over at Greenwich. But Nazaire Jones got his hands on it. He's 6'5" with a wingspan of a 7-footer.
Well, the redshirt freshman comes in leading his team in tackles for loss. Here he realizes I'm not going to get the quarterback. Elevate, get the hand up the bat it down with the big left paw. And an outstanding series of downs for North Carolina's defense.
Will Ballman comes on to punt. Ryan Switzer will be standing at the 45.
Well, this is the matchup that Rachel mentioned at the beginning of the game. The punt team for NC State against Ryan Switzer, the All-American from a year ago.
Yeah, this matchup makes this game a little extra spicy. This is a high spiraling punt. Switzer says, no, get away from it. Hits the ground, and then he tries to take it. Gets back to the 40, maybe. Some words on the sideline, as you would suspect in a rivalry like this, but you don't want any flags. 50-yard punt by Will Ballman and a return of 4. Well, we're underway. Food continues to be cooked. We'll be back after a word from your local ACC station.
Time for a Hardee's update from Syracuse at Boston College, Chestnut Hill. The opening kickoff from just inside the 5. It is Miles Willis. Makes a couple of moves and will go 95 yards. The Eagles lead at 7-0. They're already bowl eligible, 6-5 on the season, and they lead.
Well, it's a good report. Boston College out to a great start, trying to go to 7-5, trying to go to 500 in the conference. Williams in the backfield with T.J. Logan. Switzer in motion. This is Logan across the 40. 8-3, tackled by Mike Rose.
Tim, North Carolina's been waiting for T.J. Logan to explode, and over the last couple of weeks, he's done that. He's been that complement to Marquise Williams in the backfield. Had earned 60 yards against Duke, over 200 yards over his last couple of games. He's caught the ball out of the backfield effectively. T.J. Logan, they expect him to be an explosive player. He's been that for him here in the back half of the season.
Davis and Switzer go to the top of the screen. Here's Marquise Williams with the keeper. It's an up-tempo football team with Carolina, but they need to move the chains to get to that up-tempo rhythm that they're looking for. They lead the ACC with 900 plays. That's 78 plays a game. Crowley is the man down. He's your center, Lucas Crowley.
Yeah, Lucas Crowley, we did a game a few weeks ago against Miami, and Crowley was coming off an ankle injury sustained against Virginia. And he's a key part of what these guys do in the run game. Makes a lot of the signals, takes care of all those type of things. Let's go down for more on T.J. Logan with Rachel Barbeau.
Art, you mentioned T.J. Logan. We talked to his quarterback, Marquise Williams, about him yesterday, and he said he's really becoming more comfortable. He's running with a purpose. He does credit that to the O-line. They are healthy. They are playing together. They're getting a lot of push up front. But he said he's also showed extra dedication in the weight room, and he's really proud of him.
Well, you talk about that offensive line, Rachel, and that's really been something the coaching staff talked about to us yesterday, Tim, about was how they've stayed together. They certainly don't need Lucas Crowley to go down. Arian Smith has only got 1 start this year.
While we have a moment, why don't we check our Carolina 4 keys to the game? Arch, what do you have?
Well, for North Carolina State, you need to win big up front. That's where their strength of their team is, their offensive and defensive lines. Certainly their defensive line need to win at the front level. And for North Carolina, they need to bring the same energy they had about 10 days ago against Duke. They played at a fever pitch, and it showed. Can you do it in back-to-back rivalry games?
So Crowley comes out. Arian Smith comes in. Number 74 now will be the center for the Tar Heels. Third down. Williams with backside pressure, throws deep. And incomplete, well covered. Hollins is calling for a flag. Burris was right there with him, and they were bumping and grinding all the way down that field.
Yeah, Mac Hollins is the down-the-field threat. Comes in averaging over 18 yards of reception. Burris kind of stays in a dip pocket. And, hey, Burris is, as long as Burris isn't running into the receiver, he can have his own ground. He can take care of that area. And I thought that he did a good job of staying in good position. Good no call there.
Tommy Hibbert comes on to punt it away for the Tar Heels. And Bo Hines, always dangerous at his own 20. Hibbert likes to give you that little rugby-style kick. Runs right, kicks. And this is a beauty. This is a missile. Taken at the 10 and slides down right there where he caught it. A 48-yard punt. A hang time of 3.7 seconds. Well, rivalry week, there's some pretty good games coming up. And if you look at the menu by Ruby Tuesday, this is what we're showing you.
Well, the one last night was big. Virginia Tech gets bowl eligible with their win. Obviously, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech going to represent the Coastal in the ACC championship game. How about Kentucky jumping all over Louisville? That's a bit of a surprise at Papa John's. And later on, Florida State. Florida State trying to hang on to one of those 4 spots to go to the college football playoff.
Nice win last night for Frank Beamer. Needed it after the loss at Wake last week. And, of course, Craig Littlepage extended Mike London's contract for next season, so he'll be back as well. Here's a gainer by Shadrack Thornton. Picks up about 5.
NC State trying to come back and reestablish a little bit of a physical run game. North Carolina got a lot of hats around the football in the last series of downs. It really took North Carolina State out of the rhythm. So trying to get back to who they are with that power running game.
You know, some people said they were surprised by Craig Littlepage's announcement at the timing of it, that Mike London would be back. But I think it was good to motivate him for Virginia Tech. Didn't work, but, you know, it also helps with recruiting. Recruits know that Mike will be there. Here's the end around. This is Samuels. Samuels has some giddy up, and he takes it all the way out to the 27-yard line. Knocked out of bounds by Schottner, who's been all over the field, but it's a pickup of 12, first down.
Dave Dorn's backs have stayed healthy all year long, and so it's made it tough to get Jalen Samuels into the game. This is a freshman from Mallard Creek in Charlotte, North Carolina, that had a prolific high school career. 1,400 yards rushing his senior, 39 rushing touchdowns. As we see Lucas Crowley trying to get that ankle back together for North Carolina on the sideline. Let's go down. Well, let's wait for a second, Tim. We'll go down to Rachel in a second.
First down, Wolfpack. Quick throw on the slant. This is Greenwich, and Greenwich is hit by Malik Simmons immediately, but he's got 8 yards. So again, words. Things getting a little chippy.
Brissett gets the throw into Greenwich. It's a very similar throw that he completed to him on the first play of the game. And then you kind of expect it when you get in a rivalry game, Tim. You and I both played in rivalry games. It's going to get, it gets a little sideways from time to time. What you said is that he can't draw that 15-yard penalty.
No, and that's what Rob Crisp has to be careful of. Big old 78's a senior. He's got to know better. Second down and short. This is Thornton. Shadrack Thornton's got the first down, and NC State's on the move again. Pick up a 5. Ethan Farmer. He was there first on the tackle. Let's go down to Rachel Barbeau.
Yeah, guys, I'm watching the center for UNC, Lucas Crowley. They've got him running now on the sidelines. He was walking earlier. I'm told it's the left ankle. It's an injury that he has had before, guys. And we just mentioned the offensive line. They'll need him out there today.
Well, he had the injury. He missed the Miami game, and they did not play well in that game at all. Since he's come back, they've been much better on offense.
Brissett rolls, gets around the corner with a good play fake, pass fake, and gets a first down for NC State. Jacoby Brissett with a big first half here at Kenan Stadium.
Well, you hear it all the time, Tim. You play defense, quarterback play fake. What are you supposed to do?
Keep your feet. Don't lose leverage.
Don't come off of the ground. This is exactly what Jacoby Brissett was able to do. Get Schottmer off his feet, and he can't make a play in midair. Good job by the junior quarterback.
Matt Days comes into the ball game now. You heard Art say earlier, he's very versatile. Good runner, good pass receiver. Here they have him carry the ball. Nothing there. Days never had a chance. Malik Simmons, the Ram, came up and hit him like a ram. Our first and 10 line is brought to you by YP.com, the even more powerful Yellow Pages. One app, one site. YP can do that.
Well, North Carolina defensively struggled some on third down. They felt like their first and second downs have been the problem. So that was a good play from North Carolina's defense there on first down.
Brings up second down and 10. Pressure in there on Brissett. He still throws the completion and gets it down to the 45-yard line. Bo Hines with a catch, and what looked like a loss of 7 picks up 4.
We've got two big quarterbacks today. Brissett 6'4", 230, and he shows right here. Let's him step away from Norkeithus Otis and get the ball out. That's just the ability to extend the play. We talk about it all the time with him, and that's what North Carolina feared the most, was his ability to extend stuff for Dave Doran and make some plays. We've seen it already.
He's got to be careful, though, when he does that. Carolina's made a living on turnovers. They're 6th in the nation and have 108 points off those turnovers. Brissett, empty backfield, more pressure. Escapes and then gets taken down for a loss of 1. Jesse Rogers got him from behind.
Yeah, Jesse Rogers comes in, this leading sacker, and he's a rotational guy that comes into the defensive tackle position. But good push. Schottmer, number 10, shows up right away, cuts Brissett off, forces him back to the inside, where all those metallic blue hats are waiting for him.
So Will Ballman comes on again to punt it away. Ryan Switzer standing at his 10. He'll try to pooch this. And it's a knuckler. This is returnable, but he carried fair catch inside the 15. I thought he had some room. Little punt of 32 yards, and it was kind of a line drive. It looked returnable. Let's go back to Charlotte. Here's Tom.
Tim, thanks, Tom and Tommy, for a Hardy's update. That #1 defense of the Clemson Tigers. Back at it, Coach.
My Defensive Player of the Year, Vic Beasley, runs through 2 blockers to strip Dylan Thompson.
And then Wayne Gallman, 5 yards to the end zone. He had a 31-yard run before that. That set it up.
Good start there. Here we've got Morris. Comes into the backfield for Carolina. Williams will run it. Marquise Williams. He's got the first down for Carolina. Pick up of 12, so first down success early here has been very important for the Tar Heels.
Tim, we highlighted these two quarterbacks, and boy, did they come to play. Both of them are fighting and clawing when things break down, trying to push the ball up the field. Both are making some plays.
So far, it's been just base defense for the Wolfpack. Here they slide over, and Lamar Morris has good yardage and a first down for the Tar Heels.
Versatility is what comes into mind when you talk about Romar Morris, his ability to run it, catch it. He's got a Matt Days, ironically enough, they wear the same number, 21. He can catch it out of the backfield, he can run it. He's done an outstanding job of rotating in there with TJ Logan.
Now they start to pick up the pace a little bit. Williams looks, sets, fires, complete. Into NC State territory goes TJ Thorpe. A pickup of 15 yards.
Well, TJ Thorpe hosted Marquise Williams on Thanksgiving Day, and he gets him back. He gets him a little scrap back as he hits his big receiver on the outside. The two guys spent a lot of time together.
First down, Tar Heels. NC State comes with a blitz. They pick it up. They throw deep and way overthrown. No chance. Uncatchable.
Yeah, that was one where I think that Marquise felt like he had maybe a little bit more pressure than he really did. He could have waited for TJ Thorpe on that one a little bit, but did a good job. If he's not going to throw it to his guy, don't let anybody else catch it either.
Bring up second down and 10. Beautiful splash day in Chapel Hill. Kenan Stadium all dressed up for the final game of the regular season. Logan with the carry. It's about 4, maybe 5. That might bring us to the end of the first quarter. Final seconds ticking away. Will they take a play or not? 3, 2, 1. That'll bring us to the end. I think Williams was looking for the snap. The 104th meeting in this series, a rivalry which began in 1894, a real rivalry since 1953 when they became the ACC. We'll go to the second quarter. Our first quarter stats brought to you by the North Carolina Education Lottery. This year, the North Carolina Education Lottery will contribute more than $500 million to help meet North Carolina's education needs. Learn more at nc-educationlottery.org.
NC State's done a nice job of controlling the football. 10.5 minutes of that first quarter on offense. Arian Smith at center for North Carolina. We talked about Lucas Crowley nursing the ankle injuries plagued him here the back half of the season.
They bring the blitz. Try to outnumber him. Throw the timing pattern, and it's caught at the 22-yard line by Bug Howard. No flags. Niles Clark had good coverage, but what a catch for 24 yards by Bug Howard.
Now you're talking about a 6'4" wide receiver now, and the ball's a little underthrown. Howard goes and gets it.
Up-tempo Logan. Snapped it quickly, gain of 3.
Well, that's the thing about North Carolina now. They'll make the play down the field, and as a defense, you're kind of kicking yourself. You didn't stop them. You better get lined up because they're coming at you right away. Here they come.
This is Williams looking for a crease. He's hit hard. Go back to Hakeem Jones. He said everybody had attention this week because after you hit Williams a few times, he quits. Well, the pack hit him hard that time.
Yeah, you can hear him hitting out there now. Third and short.
Williams bobbles the snap. Now tucks it away and goes down.
They got a quick early pressure from Art Norman off the edge, and it forced Marquise Williams to step up into the pocket. Watch 95 flash off the edge right away. Now Marquise is in a defensive mode, steps right into that interior pass rush, and they put him on the ground. Nice coordination in that front four for NC State.
Yeah, pushed him right into Thomas Teal. Here's Thomas Moore comes on for a 35-yard field goal attempt. High snap. Moore gets a lot of it. And it's no good to the left. Thomas Moore pushed it a little bit left. Well, the always popular Franklin Street. You don't see many pedestrians on the street. They're all inside. 7-0 State.
ACC football is brought to you by Geico, official corporate champion of the ACC. By PNC Bank. By Ruby Tuesday, official corporate champion of the ACC. And by Toyota, official corporate champion of the ACC.
The walls, the well, and the bells. We're just down the hill in Kenan Stadium for the rivalry, and it's a good one.
Well, you talk about red zone offense. North Carolina has been outstanding here at home. In fact, that's the first time this season that North Carolina has not scratched for points in the red zone. Coming in, they were 20 for 20 at home, 0 for 1 today with that missing the field goal.
NC State has it. Jacoby Brissett, the quarterback. Shadrack Thornton comes in as the ball carrier. He's out across the 25-yard line. Run out of bounds by Donnie Miles.
Another nice first down pickup, Tim. In fact, so far today, State averaging almost 6 yards, 5.9 yards on first down. Another 5 yards there in a good spot now. When you're Matt Canada and you're calling plays for Jacoby Brissett, a lot easier to stay on schedule and call plays.
We've seen Brissett several times this season. It's about as comfortable as we've seen him. Offset line. Big hole. Thornton has a hole and across midfield. Shadrack Thornton. It's a foot race and it's all the way down inside the 20. Knocked out of bounds by Des Lawrence and Brian Walker. They had the angle, but Thornton with a 58-yard run.
Tim, you mentioned overload side of the line of scrimmage. They're going to come off the football, outnumber North Carolina at the point of attack. And good running, good vision by Shadrack Thornton as he hits the sideline. In fact, Brian Walker is going to save a touchdown here as Shadrack Thornton makes a huge play, the biggest play of the game so far from an explosion standpoint.
First down inside the red zone. Tony Creasy comes in. He's your lone back. He's your ball carrier. And he's down to the 15. Kason Collins made the tackle.
Well, another team that's been pretty solid in the red zone. You get up in that 72, 73% area, you're doing a good job. 31 touchdowns for North Carolina State. And again, you add in the fact that the quarterback's versatile, which is what North Carolina has going for them. The ability to pull the ball down and take off. That's how North Carolina State put their last touchdown on the board. Brissett running it in.
Second down and a short 8. Brissett has pressure. Here comes the blitz, and he runs around it. It's down to about the 13-yard line. Brian Walker knocked him out after a gain of 4.
Well, DeJuan Brent-Drennan's going to come clean through the middle. And how about Brissett's ability just to step away from the freshman defensive end and get something positive on second down there to get you in a third and medium situation.
I'll go back to what I said a few minutes ago. I have not seen Brissett play with this kind of confidence since Florida State. They had Florida State on the ropes.
You saw Dave Doran there a few moments ago, the head coach at NC State. He's got to be excited to play the way his quarterback has come out and played.
State spreads the field. Throw into the corner, timing pattern, floated out there, incomplete. Flag comes. Intended for Bo Hines. But that's going to be pass interference. The first flag of the ball game. Tim Scott never turned his head to look for the ball.
Yeah, and he continued to run forward as Hines tried to gear down to make the catch. Scott ran through him. This is a different type of play than we saw earlier.
Defense, number 17. The ball is spotted at 2-yard line. First down.
And Tim, you're all over it. See, Tim Scott does not locate the football and just continues to run through the receiver as he gears down to try to make the play. It's different than the play we had earlier where Mac Hollins was trying to catch the ball over Burris. Burris has allowed his own territory as long as he's not running through the wide receiver. And there's no question Jacoby thought he needed one, and he got one.
Ron Cherry, the referee, validates our call. They move it all the way down inside the 5. Here's the give back to Thornton. He's not going to get there. But he's down inside the 2.
Well, this is where the versatility, both these teams possess a guy at the quarterback position that can break you down in the run game. And that's what makes it difficult for both defensive coordinators to defend this area of the field.
State's offensive line averages 300 pounds. And they've been Iron Men. All 5 guys have been playing all season. Overload the right side. And that's the direction they go, but nothing there. Thornton can't get to the end zone.
A little extracurricular going on down there. You can imagine you start getting him toe-to-toe and trying to root a guy out of there. He's trying to stand his ground. Some physical play here from North Carolina up front as they slide across to try to match the overload offensive front. And they do a good job of swelling up against the run to force a third down.
NC State has been really good on third down conversions all year. Brings up third down here in the red zone. Big offensive lineman. That's Quentin Schooley, and Schooley has not missed a play all season. Not a play.
This is not a deep offensive line. They don't have a lot of people to go get. Schooley again, the center. We saw Lucas Crowley leave for North Carolina. Schooley, the guy that calls the shots up front for this offensive line for North Carolina State.
6'4", 301 pounds. While they continue to work on him, let me tell you that the college football playoff ranking is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. This is going to get interesting here in the last week. Alabama, Oregon. There's Florida State. Florida State, of course, will play Georgia Tech in the championship game.
Yeah, those two are battling both in-state rivals, Florida and Florida State, and Georgia Tech. We'll take a look at what happened to Quentin Schooley here, the center. See what happens. Just kind of gets rolled up from behind, I think, is the pile. You see him get rolled up right there. And that means Tony Adams, the freshman, is going to have to slide to center.
Looked like his ankle. While there's still timeout on the field, let's go back to Charlotte, check in with the studio guys, Tom and Tommy.
Time for a Hardy's update. We start South Carolina and Clemson. Deshaun Watson, he will run this one down. Almost took it into the end zone, just short. The very next play, he scores. 21-7 in the second quarter. Clemson leads. On to Kentucky at Louisville. Michael Dyer 3 yards into the end zone, and the Cardinals have taken the lead. 14-13 in the second quarter.
All right, fellas, Quentin Schooley's been helped off the field, so this next play will be the first play he has not been in all season long.
That means freshman Tony Adams goes to center, and Bryce Kennedy comes in at right guard for North Carolina State.
Alex Barr is out. Can't play today. He's a backup guard. They are thin, as Art said. Here they are. 3rd and goal. Touchdown, NC State. Greenwich with the catch. David Greenwich with 3 catches in the ball game, and he was wide open.
Yeah, excellent play fake by Jacoby Brissett, and nobody took care of the responsibility from a coverage standpoint. And Greenwich, the sophomore, catches the touchdown, and NC State extends their lead.
Nicholas Sadie comes on for the extra point. And he's like money in the bank. NC State in the first half, using everything. The ground attack, the air attack, and a 14-0 lead with 9:52 in the second quarter. You are watching the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports. It's also streaming live now on the ACC.com and on the official ACC mobile app. Closed captioning for ACC football is brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time.
Excellent scoring drive again. 80 yards. The previous one was 79 yards. Doing a good job of mixing run and pass. The big play, Shadrack Thornton, the explosion play down the field. Then on 3rd down, Brissett finds his sophomore tight end on an excellent throw for the touchdown. And North Carolina State has controlled this football game.
Yeah, Thornton, the hero on that drive. 58-yard run was big. He had 63 rushing yards. This ball hits and rolls and goes into the end zone. That'll be a touchback because he muffed it. Never had possession. Smart play by Damian Washington, who knew the rule. Let's go back to Charlotte, check in with Tom on the Georgia Tech game.
Thank you, Tim. Time for Hardy's update. Georgia Tech and Georgia. The Jackets' Darren Waller, the 7-yard catch from Justin Thomas. Tied at 7 at the half. Georgia has fumbled twice at the goal line in this one.
When you talk about that in-state rivalry, Georgia Tech, obviously Georgia's dreams of playing an SEC title game went by the wayside as Missouri won yesterday, but Georgia Tech got an opportunity to play in the ACC championship next weekend against number 3 Florida State. Big weekend for them.
Yeah, it's been a great year down in the flats. This is a second flag.
Offense number 13. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Ron Cherry with the call. This is a tremendous officiating crew, and only the second flag of this ball game.
Yeah, you can't jump offside if you're not wide receiver, though, Tim. You got to watch the football. That's an unforced error for North Carolina.
So it'll be first down and 15. Williams throws underneath. There's speed of Switzer. Switzer knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Told us yesterday he runs a 4.39. Josh Jones took everything he had to catch up with him, knock him out of bounds, but there's another flag. It's coming back.
Holding, offense number 34. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay the down.
Elijah Hood, they called it on the freshman runner, Elijah Hood, who's checked in the game. He's been injured most of the season, but they were excited about getting him back in the game, and his first snap gets Looks flagged for a hold on a huge play by Switzer on that little shallow drag route.
He's a freshman. So first down and a taxi ride now for the Tar Heels. Queese takes it around the left side, and he's met rather rudely at the 23-yard line. Rodman Noel got there first with a whole host of Wolfpack tacklers.
Well, there was some words exchanged, and it really was more one-sided. NC State talked about how they felt like if they beat around the quarterback, Marquise Williams. In fact, Hakeem Jones talked about, as you look at Dave Huxtable, the defensive coordinator, if we get physical with Marquise Williams, he's going to quit. And we've done 4 North Carolina games this year. That's not in Marquise Williams. He does not quit.
Williams bounces it. Incomplete, intended for Davis.
When you call a guy out like that, and you tell him you're going to quit. Those are fighting words. I think a lot of him, but once you hit him a few times, he's going to hesitate to go into the hole. He's going to start thinking about other options. It goes on to mention we think he'll quit if we hit him enough. Boy, those are fighting words if I've ever heard any.
Tell you this, though, he handled it with class. Queese just laughed it off. Here he steps up and throws a strike. This is Switzer. And that's enough for the first down. So they knocked him back, and the Tar Heels pick up 13.
Well, give the credit to the offensive line for North Carolina to give Marquise Williams a chance to stand in the pocket and let that one go. They played a deep zone. He had to wait for Switzer to get into that curl area. He made a good throw, good protection up front.
Keep in mind, North Carolina trailed Pitt 14-0 in the first half and came back and won it. Here's Hood, and Hood has nowhere to run. They were anxious, as you said, to get him in the game. So far, he's got a penalty and a gain of 2.
Now, we're going to mention a lot of freshmen in this game because frankly, that's who's playing. And here's B.J. Hill, a freshman that comes in and makes the play. They're all over the field for both these teams. You talk about 2 teams that are looking to the future. NC State and North Carolina really feel like their best football is coming up in the next couple seasons.
Logan and Hood flank Williams. Here comes the pressure. Gets around it rather easily. He'll tuck it and run. Will it be a flag, or was he in bounds? Noel hit him hard at the sideline.
Well, this is one of those scenarios. Referee Cherry's right there. He reached for his flag and did not draw it. He's just in bounds. This is a legal hit. That is a legal hit. Now, it looked like Marquise was going to give himself up and go out of bounds, but go ahead and get out of bounds. This is a rivalry game. They're going to drop the hammer on you. That was a clean hit by Rodman Noel.
That's one of those hits you get up looking through your ear hole. Pressure again. Sacked at the 21-yard line.
Well, it's Rodman Noel again, comes on the blitz, the linebacker. He's going to come straight through.
And Jones got there, too, the guy who did all the chatting.
Well, Noel's right here. He's just going to come straight through. They don't account for him in the rush. He steps right around Elijah Hood, the freshman back, and he's the guy that gets the sack. So back-to-back plays by Rodman Noel.
Hibbert's punt is a low spiraler. He'll try to return it, but great coverage by the Tar Heels. Singleton made the tackle after a punt of 48 yards. We'll be back after a word from your local ACC station. .646 to play here at Chapel Hill. 14-0 NC State. PNC Bank presents our hardest working player, Jeff Schottman.
Well, he's the leader of this defense, leads them in tackles. In fact, this game a year ago, he had 8 tackles, 2 of them for loss. He's sideline to sideline. The beauty of this guy, former walk-on. He's a guy that came in there, earned his opportunity, earned his scholarship, and he now is the leader of the defense.
ACC heritage. Dad played linebacker at Duke, mom, tennis player at Wake Forest.
Well, you can see NC State made a decided effort. They're going to run the ball right at North Carolina.
Best starting field position for the Wolfpack all afternoon. Jacoby Brissett runs it. They take him down rather rudely. Malik Simmons after a gain of 2.
They're not as natural with the zone read, Tim, as North Carolina is. That's who North Carolina, that's the DNA of the North Carolina offense off that zone read. It looks a little cumbersome when you start watching North Carolina State run it. I think Jacoby Brissett is more effective. You spread it out and let him drop to throw and then let him create on his own. That's where he's made his biggest plays in this game.
2nd down and 8. O'Connor comes into the ball game. Cook in the ball game. Both teams using their benches. This is Thornton, Shadrack Thornton, who had that 58-yarder on the last drive, picks up 6 here.
Well, you can see Thornton's in a rhythm. Nice job there. He kind of pressed the hole and then slid to daylight. Shadrack Thornton coming off the best performance this season by any NC State runner 2 weeks ago against Wake Forest, and he's off to a really good start in this game.
Arch, we were talking before the ball game. They use all 3 backs, and Thornton, he would have had 1,000 yards this year, but they share so much of it. He has their only 100-yard game this year, and that was against Wake. He's got 89 already here.
Dave Dorn's got a good problem. He's got 4 backs if you add Jalen Samuels to the mix that can do a lot of different things.
Timeout, NC State. So with 5:20 remaining in the first half, timeout on the field, we'll take one as well. Today's coverage of ACC football is being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network. We welcome the nearly 1 million men and women of the U.S. Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marines stationed around the globe in 175 countries and on the high seas. We're so proud to have you with us and hope you're enjoying the broadcast, and we certainly appreciate everything that you do for us every single day. The bell tolls. The Tar Heel fans come to their feet. It's 3rd down and 2 for NC State. Tony Creasy, the lone setback with Brissett. Brissett keeps it, has the first down, and Brissett is all alone. A foot race to the end zone. Inside the 10, to the 5, to the 4. Finally tracked down by Tim Scott.
NC State moved 3 players out wide to create the box so they could get everybody blocked. Excellent block on Shatner, the linebacker. And now Brissett knows it's a matter of time that somebody tracks him down from that secondary for North Carolina. But not until the big quarterback punches it inside the 5 to the 4 as Tim Scott stays a touchdown. Jacoby Brissett, that was a designed run. Does an excellent job of pushing it up the field.
60-yard gain by Brissett. The pitch back to Thornton. Is he in? Yes. Touchdown, Shadrack Thornton. So far, the backyard brawl is just a good old-fashioned whooping.
Well, it's obviously a set that North Carolina has not seen on tape, or at least have not adjusted to, but the unbalanced line into the boundary has created some problems for North Carolina, and Shadrack Thornton is able to finish that drive with an exclamation point after the Brissett 60-yard run.
Nicholas Sadie splits the sticks. And it's 21-0 over the Tar Heels.
Well, Tim, when you talk about how do you get yourself positioned, create the matchup you're looking for, watch what Dave Dorn does here. Look how many defenders. He's pulled 3 defenders out of the play. Now he's got the matchup he wants in the box. The key block is on Schottmer, the linebacker, number 10. He gets that, and Brissett is off to the races. Tim Scott ultimately chases him down and makes the tackle. We talked about the unbalanced line. Look how many North Carolina State players are on that left side, and all Thornton does is push the hole and then press and go back to the backside on the cutback. Excellent running and vision by Shadrack Thornton, and a good job by that big group coming off the ball.
Brissett, the top 100 national recruit out of South Florida, started 3 games for Florida and transferred to NC State. The ACC and your local Toyota dealers unlocking the ACC archive. Back in 2002, quarterback Philip Rivers led 14th-ranked NC State to a 34-17 lead over the Tar Heels. Carolina jumped out to that 17-7 lead in the 3rd quarter, but NC State stormed back, scored 24 unanswered, Visit the ACC.com/vault. It's brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Damian Washington and Walker are deep, and that's Walker. He's going to bring it out. Walker around the corner. And Walker runs 50 to get 22. Let's go back to Charlotte, check in with the guys in the studio.
Thank you, Tim. Coming up on the Hyundai halftime report, we'll talk about this rivalries. Clemson is winning. Georgia Tech is hanging tough with Georgia. And Louisville just took the lead on Kentucky.
The ACC looking pretty good right now versus 3 SEC teams. We'll see what they do after half.
Clemson and Georgia Tech both trying to stop 5-game losing streaks to their rivals. We'll update you on that on the Hyundai halftime report.
Williams hit hard, and he'll lose a yard. Thomas Teal got there and made him pay.
Well, what North Carolina can't do is they can't panic. Now, what you've got to do is you've got to find a way to have success on first down. That was not the answer. They went back to Marquise Williams running the ball. Going to have to get the ball in the perimeter, get the ball to Switzer, and some of those guys in the slot.
Here's Williams, loses the ball, and loses more yardage.
See, the concentration for NC State is on the quarterback. They're going to try to take him out of the game in the run game. They're going to make him throw the football. So now Larry Fedora's team is going to have, other guys are going to have to step up. The little shallow drag that they got to Switzer that was called back because of the penalty, those are the kind of things they're going to need to get to. Matt Collins is going to have to step up and make a play. The two big receivers on the outside, Davis and Bug Howard, going to have to make plays on the perimeter.
Carolina's a well-coached team by Larry Fedora. We'll see how they react. In trouble again. Inside the 5. He goes down. McKeever got there first with Teal.
Well, this is all because North Carolina State won on first and second down. Now you force North Carolina into an uncomfortable situation. Nobody wants to be in third and long. And wow, you talk about McKeever just running completely through the tackle for Ferranto on the left side and helps Teal get there and make the play. They just completely overpowered North Carolina up front.
Carolina has only 4 rushing yards. And that ball was almost blocked. There's going to be a penalty. It's going to be roughing the kicker. Malcolm Means came through.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. 14. Defense. 15 yards. Automatic. First down.
And new life for North Carolina.
It's a critical error, Tim, because, yeah, you'd like to block it if you're there, but you got to make sure you get the football. It's 4th and 30. It's a huge, you're going to get the ball at midfield. It's a huge mistake by North Carolina State. What they don't want to do is give North Carolina's offense another breath of fresh air and give them an opportunity to get themselves going.
Just talking about Carolina being well coached, there is no panic. We mentioned that they were down 14 points to Pitt, came back and rolled them. Down 21 here to NC State. Backside pressure, steps up, avoids the sack, throws deep, and almost picked off, should have been. Josh Jones is the freshman, and he should have picked it off.
Well, Marquise Williams is just begging his offensive line, just give me some time to throw the football. Look how quickly the Red Hats are around him. He doesn't have a chance. Now he's trying to get it to his deep receiver, Switzer, but the ball gets tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it's an interception that Josh Jones, the freshman, should have had for NC State.
Drew Davis almost had the ball. Here they come again with the pressure, try to set up the screen. And incomplete, now Words again. McGill got the pressure on Williams, and he's sitting down, and at the 2, this is not a good moment for North Carolina.
Well, it's going to test Marquise Williams. We talked about some of the comments that came from NC State. If we beat him around, he'll stop playing. That's not who we've seen out of Marquise Williams in the year and a half we've seen him as a starter. But they are testing that theory today because they are hammering the North Carolina quarterback.
No question, NC State has been more physical than Carolina in the first half. North Carolina has not been shut out all season at the half, but they're in jeopardy here.
This group right here has got to play football. Their offensive line has got to play.
State shows blitz again. And timeout NC State. State showed blitz. Carolina saw it. They regrouped and State took the timeout. Well, the Ram Power Play is brought to you by the 2014 Ram 1500. Last Saturday, Miami came to Charlottesville and take on Virginia. Cavaliers trailed the Hurricanes in the second quarter. How about the catch?
Well, one-handed stab by Severin in the end zone. What a big play.
And the pass from Lambert. Severin's amazing catch helped the Cavaliers to a 30-13 win over the Canes. And that is our Ram Power Play.
Severin led the Cavaliers in receiving last night in a loss at Lane Stadium against Virginia Tech, and a heck of a battle between those two teams.
And Arch, I know it's been controversial, but Mike London and Craig Littlepage agreeing to at least one more year on that contract in 2015 is a good thing. He's a quality guy.
He's as good a guy as there is out there, no question about it.
Third down and 10 for the Tar Heels. Hollins and Tab go to the top of your screen. The speed, Ryan Switzer down at the bottom. Brissett in trouble again, throws in the flats, and a flag comes out. Rose got there first.
Did he get his face mask, though?
Personal foul. Face mask. 75. Defense. 15 yards. First down.
That's McGill.
4th and 30, you rough the kicker. 2nd and 10, you face mask the quarterback. He's dumping the ball off. Two huge mistakes by North Carolina State. Now, North Carolina's got to cash this in because they're giving gifts. Christmas doesn't come for another month, but they've given a couple of them by North Carolina State here to try to get into the game.
You don't want to upset the Ram. The Rams got horns. Tar Heels bailed out again. So first down and 10. Roger Morris comes into the game.
This is where they have to have success, North Carolina, on first down.
Ball is batted up in the air and batted away. Mike Rose, he's 6'3", 271 pounds. They got their hands up and timed it.
Well, Rose came in leading this team in tackles for loss. He has 4 sacks. The juniors played really well out on the edge. And when he knows he's not going to get there, they chip block him right there. He elevates and bats it away with the left hand.
North Carolina State with 3 tipped balls. Here's around the corner. Morris had a little bit of room. He'll be just short of the first down. Josh Jones tackled him after a gain of 9.
And I think that's where you got to make your hay now if you're North Carolina against the Wolfpack. It's perimeter. It's got to become a perimeter game. They're packing the box to take away Marquise Williams running the ball.
Third down and a very manageable 2. Thorpe, Switzer, go wide. This will be Williams who gets the first down and continues to push the pile to the 47-yard line. Rodman Noel will get credit. He got there first, but there were a lot of pack around it.
Well, they spread NC State out that time, got the 6-man box, meaning that the third linebacker type was removed to cover the slot. So now you've got the numbers you're looking for to run the football. Similar situation here.
A new set of downs for Carolina. And almost picked off again.
Well, Howard slipped coming out of the break. Good job by Tocho to come out of the break. With Howard stumbling out of the break, and Jack Tocho almost picked this one off. Good play by the corner for NC State.
So it'll bring up second down and 10. You see the time remaining in the first half, 1:29. Play clock really hasn't been a factor. This is a very up-tempo offense. And here's Queese again, has a hole, slides past 1 tackle. First down, Carolina, down to the 40. Hakeem Jones tripped him up, or there would have been more.
The key is this box. There's only 5 in the box. That's what's creating the opportunity.
This is Switzer. Picks up 3.
Again, what they're trying to do, it's a numbers game. And North Carolina has got 3 receivers in the game, and there are 4 receivers in the game. They're trying to spread NC State out and run against a 6-man box. And see, North Carolina State's trying to creep a guy into the box to get 7.
Well, they need 7 here, and they're going deep. This one is picked off. Burris has the interception. He had Collins covered well, and Hollins had no chance at the ball. That was all Justin Burris.
Well, what a good play. We've seen Burris make a couple of plays on Matt Collins today deep, and this one he's in perfect position. Watch him rotate the head around. He's going to look for the football. He's right in the hip pocket, and then a good job by the junior to elevate and take it away. That's his 5th career interception as a member of the Wolfpack.
So a couple of breaks for North Carolina on that drive that kept it alive. A couple of key penalties by NC State, but they eventually get the turnover and get the ball back. 66 seconds remaining in the half.
Tim, that's a little bit of frustration for Marquise Williams trying to take the big shot. They were moving the football, took the big shot there, turned it over.
Not much there. Shadrack Thornton taken down immediately after a gain of 2. You're NC State. You don't want to turn the ball over here. You don't want to give any opportunities to Carolina, but you don't want to get conservative either. Well, while we have a chance, take a look at the ACC Offensive Player of the Year candidates.
Well, it's been a good year for guys. How about James Conner, the Terminator? He's run the ball 145 yards a game. Big Duke Johnson. He's done an outstanding job of taking care of the football and running it for him. Jameis Winston's got to be in the mix. Leads the ACC in total offense. Throw a Marquise Williams in there. How about that?
How about the defense?
Defensively, Vic Beasley's gotten after the passer. He's doing it again today against South Carolina. An outstanding job. Holloman, how about 13 interceptions, leads the country in taking the football away. And Denzel Perryman brings the noise every time he plays.
Yeah, Perryman knows the difference between come here and sick 'em. Hey, the ACC Coach of the Year. Here are the candidates.
Yeah, these two guys will face each other a week from today in Charlotte. Boy, Paul Johnson's done a heck of a job. New quarterback. How about Jimbo Fisher dealing with all the things that swirl around that program every week?
And it'll be my pleasure to award those winners next weekend at the Legends Dinner. Run by Thornton again, picks up 4.
I would think Larry Fedora, and he did. He burned a timeout. North Carolina realizes that NC State trying to get out here with a 21-0 lead at halftime.
Well, you talked about the title game, Georgia Tech and Florida State. The ACC title game, and Georgia Tech for Florida State, I think, is very, very dangerous.
We'll talk about trying to prepare for that Paul Johnson offense in just a 3-day practice period. Very difficult for Florida State. You look at the numbers, very comparable. One's a passing team, one's a rushing team. How about Georgia Tech's turnover margin? +10, and Florida State's been living on the edge. They turned the football over, but have found a way to win games.
Quayshawn Neely, what a year he's had. And Mario Edwards, another very physical linebacker.
6 defensive touchdowns for Georgia Tech coming into today's game. And they're battling Georgia right now in Athens.
So it's 3rd down and 4. You see the time remaining in the half, 54 seconds. Straight ahead they go. Did they get there? Yes. 1st down, NC State, and that should bring us to the end of the first half. There will not be. It looked like you mentioned Larry Fedora was trying to get the ball back, but this will move the chains, give them a new set of downs.
Well, NC State's going to be very comfortable going in with a 21-0 lead. They're deep in their own territory. They'll let this clock run out. Coach Fedora burned the timeout, trying to get out, trying to give himself one more chance with the football. So it's going to be regroup time for the Tar Heels at halftime. They're going to have to find a way to get their playmakers the ball on the outside, and there's going to be a gut check for that offensive line. They got to protect Marquise Williams.
Yeah, just a clock play, take a knee. Now, again, there's a lot of chatter going on. Ron Terry jumps in there. The officials jump in there. They want to keep both teams going to their locker rooms and not into the middle of the field. Great job of separating them. Des Lawrence still getting a few words. Crowd now getting riled up. Now the coach is having a few words. Let's go down to Rachel Barbeau.
Coach, you're dominating pretty much in all phases of the game, but knowing you, I know those penalties and that emotion is getting to the players and to you. What do you tell them? How do they control their emotions in the second half?
I don't want them to control their emotions. I want them to use their emotion the right way to finish this game the way we played the first 30 minutes. It's a 60-minute game. They're a much better second-half team they have been all year, so we got to come out and double what we just did.
Coach, you also told us and praised your quarterback and his toughness. What about his play in the first half?
He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's taking care of the football. He's executing the game plan. He's leading his boys.
Good luck in the second half. All right, guys, we've got a game here. NC State seems to be in control in the second half, but we do know that UNC is a quick strike offense, and I'm sure Larry Fedora will get after his guys in the locker room. Let's send it back to the studio with Tom and Tommy.
Rachel, thank you very much. And the Hyundai halftime report is coming up. But, Coach, I want to ask you about what Dave Doran just said about I don't want them to control their emotions in the second half. We've seen a lot of that on rivalry weekend today.
Tom, you want emotion, no doubt about that, but you want controlled emotion. You have to play smart. If it gets uncontrolled, penalties happen, it'll cost you somewhere down the line. But a little surprised by he didn't want controlled emotion.
Hey, the Pack had a week off after beating Wake Forest 2 weeks ago, their first ACC win. They're trying to make it 2 in a row against North Carolina, which has won 4 of its last 5 games. Another half to come in that one. And we've got all kinds of highlights from all of the rivalry games involving ACC teams. David Greenidge, the catch in the end zone, the Pack up 21-0. The Hyundai halftime report is next. 21-10. NC State has run out to a 21-0 lead against North Carolina. Shadrack Thornton takes it in halftime from Chapel Hill. The ACC Digital Network is your home for ACC football in the postseason. Go to theacc.com next week for full ACC football championship game coverage beginning Monday, including live press conferences, hype videos, game previews, and, of course, all the must-see moments and highlights following the game on Saturday between Florida State and Georgia Tech. It's on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. And we welcome you back to the Hyundai halftime report. 21-0. NC State has the lead at North Carolina, Kenan Memorial Stadium, in our ACC Network game. North Carolina has won 2 in a row in this series. Both of these teams are bowl eligible. Let's take a look at the highlights from the first half, and it's all red and white. How about Jacoby Brissett, Coach?
I tell you what, he's got 115 yards rushing, averaging 11 yards a carry. Right now, North Carolina does not have an answer for Brissett on the ground.
And he finds a receiver here. David Greenidge with the grab.
Yeah, he's only thrown for 36 yards in the first half, but he's made them count.
Efficient, and then look at him go, Coach. Finds a seam and runs that football.
Trying to find the safety for North Carolina. You can't find them here. Jacoby Brissett putting the Tar Heels in good, the Wolfpack in good shape.
You know what's going on at halftime right now? Dre Bly, our colleague here on the ACC Blitz and on the ACC Network, being honored. He's going into the Hall of Fame, and we'll be back after a word from our local stations. How does North Carolina get back into this one against NC State, trailing 21-0?
North Carolina needs Rashad Green right now. Somebody spark them on offense. They've only got 119 yards of total offense. And the North Carolina defense got to find an answer for Jacoby Brissett. 9 carries, 115 yards, averaging 11 yards a carry.
We know North Carolina can score points. Can they do it in the second half? They were shut out in the first half, 21-0 against NC State. After the break, we're going back to Chapel Hill. Tim, Dave, and Rachel with the call. And we thank you for watching the Hyundai Halftime Report.
We are the champions. Setting it off again. Oh, we on fire. We on fire. Running our campaign. Motion, baby. We on
We want to thank Gavin DeGraw for kicking off our telecast all season long with his recently released Fire. The hit single is available on iTunes. And don't forget, Gavin's new album, Finest Hour, the best of Gavin DeGraw. Hear all of Gavin's biggest hits. It's a good idea during the holiday season. And we sure appreciate you, Gavin. You've been good to us all year long. Welcome back inside, everybody. Tim Brand along with Dave Archer. You look at that score, 21-0 in a rivalry game. How much of this is the bye week for NC State?
Well, I think it's big because we've seen some unscouted looks that North Carolina's had to try to adjust to. 31 yards rushing for the Tar Heels, 239 yards rushing for the Wolfpack. They've controlled the game.
My favorite segment all season long has been going inside the headset with Arch, brought to you by AT&T.
Let's do it with offensive coordinator Matt Kenan. They've run the ball a couple of times, been stopped now. How do you get the ball in the end zone? Let's manipulate coverage, get one in the flat, gets the tight end hook in the back end, throw it opposite the coverage guy. Good play fake, throw the ball opposite the coverage man, find the ball to Greenwich. The other part of that kind of gets lost is a good play fake by Jacoby Brissett. He got that done to Shadrack Thornton.
Larry Fedora has never lost to NC State, but he's on the ropes right now. Let's go down to Rachel. He's with Coach Fedora.
All right, Coach. Football's a game of two halves. You're a quick strike offense. What do you do to spring your playmakers in the second half?
Well, we just got to play with more energy on every phase of the game. We've got to play with more energy. If we do that, good things are going to happen.
You also told us this week, defensively, you got to take away the run. You got to take away Jacoby Brissett. What do you do to stop him in the second half?
Well, we just, again, it goes back to eye discipline, fitting your gaps, and then tackling when you're there.
Lastly, you had an injury along your offensive line early in the game. Any adjustments along your offensive line to get Marquise more time?
Well, we're going to have to do a much better job up there. We have Aaron Smith in there at center. It is what it is, and our guys are going to have to play hard and pick it up for him.
Good luck in the second half. Guys?
Well, we talked about the key to the game for North Carolina. Can you bring the same energy you had against Duke 10 days ago? They have not done that in the first half. They'll have to go find that. But the defensive side of the football for NC State, Tim, you talked about being able to bring some stuff that they hadn't seen before. Well, rushing the passer, a lot of that is effort, and they have gotten after Marquise Williams in the back end. They have put him on the ground a number of times. 6 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 4 batted balls. They've done an outstanding job of pressuring UNC's quarterback, and that big group up front is going to have to find a way to do a better job of protecting him.
First time ever here. Larry Fedora has a goose egg at halftime. You know he lit up that locker room. We're underway here in the second half. This is Damian Washington for Carolina. He'll take a knee to bring it out for the touchback. And that's where the Tar Heels will start the second half. Well, there was no question about who won the first half, not only on the score, but physically. NC State.
So Marquise Williams took a monster shot about halfway through the second quarter. That big hit there. Fumbled the football. He's been under duress all day long, and here's the turnover trying to force the ball. And I think that was a product of frustration for Marquise Williams.
First down, Williams rolls right. Tackler flies by him, and he bounces the ball in at the 40-yard line. Intended for Ryan Switzer.
He has not been very effective today, Tim. 9 for 20 now, throwing the ball just 88 yards. And a lot of times when he kind of gets off rhythm throwing the ball, that can get him into the game rushing the football. He's not done much in that category as well.
Has this complete, short of a first down. Quinshot Davis pulls it in for a gain of 8. But that'll make it manageable on third down. They get up to the line of scrimmage in a hurry. Shadows start to cover half the field here at Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill. Gorgeous day. Sun splash day through Carolina. So far in this game, all NC State. Williams will take it himself. Gets a block across the 35-yard line. First down. Tackle made by the true freshman B.J. Hill. Gain of 4.
Hey, look at North Carolina's possessions in the first half. Struggled. 3 punts, missed a field goal. Their one opportunity to score. Then, of course, Marquise threw the interception. Not a lot of success.
Danes was pass, almost dropped, picked up by Switzer. That would have been a lateral. Switzer gets only 1.
Well, that's a good play by Tim Buckley. He's the guy that's going to cut it off. Here's Switzer going to throw it out there quickly to him. And see Buckley, number 6, is there right away. And then here comes Akeem Jones. Josh Jones, the safety, to finish it off. So nice play on the perimeter. I really think that's the area you can attack this defense. But, boy, NC State rallied pretty quickly right there.
Switzer has 4 catches. Logan comes in now. He's in the backfield with Williams. Switches sides. And there's a flag. We didn't have any flags in the first quarter.
Snap infraction. 74 offense. It's a 5-yard penalty.
3 flags in the second quarter, and there's the first here in the third.
Well, they need a little Giovanni Bernard. There's Caleb Presley. He's the guy that signals in the plays. He's wearing Giovanni Bernard's jersey from the Cincinnati Bengals. They could use Gio today.
Meanwhile, second down and long, Arch. See what they draw up. Quarterback draw. He doesn't get to the 35-yard line.
You got to give NC State's front four a ton of credit. Coming in, we talked about how they had to control the line of scrimmage, and their defensive front, throw the linebackers in if you want, the front 6, 7 guys. Certainly that defensive front has been outstanding today. They're controlling the line of scrimmage.
This will be third down and 11. Bring an extra man. Step up. Oh, what a throw and catch. And a flag is going to be pass interference. Doesn't make any difference. Quinshon Davis made the catch.
Well, it's a good catch by Quinshon. A contested catch. Jack Tocho right in his hip pocket. Probably got there. Looks like he got there maybe a hair early. This is a big-time catch for Quinshon Davis.
I said it didn't make any difference to give him a first.
Defense number 29. That's a spot foul. Automatic. First down.
Yeah, you'll take the penalty because it's just beyond the marker where Quinshon came back and made the catch. Was inside the marker, but they need Quinshon Davis to step up. He's a guy that's been starting since he showed up here in Chapel Hill.
First down, Tar Heels. Williams this time has time, and now he's chased out and in trouble, and he's sacked way back at the 34-yard line. McGill got it. There was no clock in his head, held it way too long. Third sack of the day, and he's not getting up. Williams is hurt.
Boy, sometimes Marquise Williams is his own worst enemy, and let's hope that this isn't serious. This guy is as tough as they come, but it looks like he gets rolled up by T.Y. McGill. As McGill drags him to the ground, looks like the big defensive tackle fell on the back. Fell on him and twisted him a little bit. 75 wide in the middle of your screen, twisting, fighting, trying to get to the quarterback. Ooh, just a wow. Just torqued Marquise Williams down to the ground here.
His head hit hard too. While there's timeout on the field, let's take one as well as you look at Mitch Trubisky, who's getting ready to come in.
ACC football is being brought to you by Avalon, official motor oil of the ACC. By Food Line, official corporate champion of the ACC. By your Carolina Ford dealers. And by New York Life Insurance Company.
ACC football is brought to you in HD by your local Tire Pros dealer. For service you can trust without the hassle. Visit the pros at tirepros.com.
Mitch Trubisky comes in at quarterback. Marquise Williams looked like he's ready to check back in. He's standing right there close on the sideline. But Trubisky, the redshirt freshman, will take this snap.
First down for Trubisky, second down for Carolina. And it is second down and long. They need 21. Here's Switzer. And they meet him at the 40-yard line. Make it the 39.
NC State has done a nice job of tackling in the open field. That's as hard a guy as there is to bring down. And Ryan Switzer, and you look at Marquise Williams on the sideline trying to walk off whatever ails him.
He hit his head hard when he hit the ground. He's been shaking it. He was 11 of 22, 97 yards and an interception, 16 carries. Here comes the blitz. Trubisky lobs it, and he had a little extra adrenaline behind that one. The freshman let it sail toward Bug Howard. He never had a chance.
Well, Trubisky, it looks like right now, based on what we're looking at, Marquise Williams standing on the sideline. Looks like Trubisky's going to have an opportunity potentially to come back in the game. Only appearance came in off the bench. First time we saw him is against Virginia, had a big throw.
Tommy Hibbert comes on to punt, the former walk-on from Charlotte. Bo Hines standing inside the 20, and he'll fair catch it right at the 20. Good hang time and a 39-yard punt. This is the 104th meeting in this series, a rivalry which began in 1894. A real rivalry since 1953, when the ACC began.
Tom and Tommy in the studio with a Hyundai update. The Clemson Tigers go back to Artavis Scott and he gets it done, Coach.
South Carolina has had no answer for the Clemson speed sweep attacking their perimeter.
That is a 70-yard play, his second score of the game. 28-10, Tigers in front. Tim?
Meanwhile, the drama continues to build here, Tom. Marquise Williams goes over to the cart, and they're taking him to the house. Hit his head hard when he was sacked. So they're going to take him in and check him out. Get that base point, make sure he's okay.
Well, he's had an unbelievable season. Top seasons in recent memory for the ACC.
Here's Thornton, takes it around the corner for a pretty good gain on first down, pickup of 7.
Now, this is the North Carolina defense, albeit they've been pushed around in this game and have been pushed around during the season, but they've made some plays. They got 23 takeaways coming in today's game. They have 5 defensive touchdowns. Sometimes it takes the other side of the ball to light a fire. Let's see if their defense can rise up, because NC State is controlling the football game.
Carolina needs some turnovers. And that's been big for UNC all year. They're 6th in the nation in points off those turnovers. Here's Thornton again. Can't get to the first down marker, but he's close. Gain of 2.
Tim, we talked about Shadrack Thornton coming in, had his first 100-yard game, the team's first 100-yard game 2 weeks ago, and he has been huge today. Running the football with power and speed. This 58-yard run set up a touchdown later on by Jacoby Brissett. And here's another powerful run. He's finishing drives on their side of the football. When you look at 200-yard rushers today, they'd had one all year long, both quarterback and running back, over 100.
Well, they're 4 of 6 on third down conversions, trying to get this one, and they do. First down, Thornton. Shadrack Thornton tricked up by Dominique Green after a gain of 7. Let's go downstairs and check in with Rachel. An update on Marquise Williams.
Guys, you mentioned they took Marquise Williams off on a cart. He was pointing at his lower right leg. And we talked to Larry Fedora this week, and he is their leader. He is this team's leader, and they feed off of him. We sure hope he's all right.
Well, their leader on defense, Jeff Schottmer, the middle linebacker's got to get this defense to get a stop here for him.
Here's play action. Run to Waggle. Get it to Purvis, and Purvis has another big first down gain of 5.
Matt Canada doing a nice job of mixing the play calling. Jacoby's only had to throw the ball 8 times today because they've run the ball so well, but when they've thrown it, they've moved the pocket. Brissett's handled it extremely well. We talked about coming in, how well he's taking care of the football. Just 5 interceptions on the season.
Second down and 5. You're the quarterback. Open up the playbook.
No, I think you continue to let that offensive line have it. I'd turn around and give the ball to Shadrack Thornton and make North Carolina prove they can stop it.
Here we go. Here he is. Not much there. Pickup of 2.
Good play by Ethan Farmer, the big inside player. This is a defensive front that rotates a number of players up front. Their D tackles are very stout in the interior, and Farmer steps in there his last game here in Chapel Hill, makes a big play to create a third down opportunity for North Carolina to try to get off the field.
Third down and call it 3. Defense arching its back a little bit.
Well, and here's where it becomes a problem for Vic Koning's defense now, is you've got to find a way to not let Jacoby Brissett win the down himself by running with the football.
Brissett, quarterback draw. You called it. First down, more. To the 40. Jacoby Brissett inside the 30. Wow.
Again, they're dropping to throw the football. This is not a designed run by Jacoby Brissett. Going to go ahead and let this go, guys. They're trying to spread North Carolina out. Now freeze it. Look here, nobody in the middle accounting for the quarterback. Brissett sees that, pulls it down, and he's off to the races. He has hurt North Carolina a number of times, dropping to throw, and then just sorts it out and realizes, hey, I've got room to run.
143 rushing yards. First down. Here's the give to Thornton. Another big gain on first down. The Wolfpack continues to roll. Gain of 6.
Now, nothing begins to take you out of your game or take your heart out of a game is a power running game. And they are coming off the football over 260 yards, 263 now, running the football. It's Shadrack Thornton and it's Jacoby Brissett pounding the football straight ahead. It's a Carolina defense that's trying to dig deep. You can see Larry Fedora step off the sideline, trying to encourage these guys to try to get a stop.
Gun check time for Carolina. And they answer the bell. Thornton had absolutely nowhere to run. He'll lose a couple of yards.
We talked to Jeff Schottmer yesterday when we got here at Chapel Hill and said, what's the key? What was the key to your Duke win on defense? You guys were swarming. They said, well, we put ourselves in good situations on third down to get off the football field. And here they get a play on second down. Schottmer a part of that group. And now they've got an opportunity to potentially win here on third down.
Carolina held Duke to just 67 yards rushing in the half last week.
Well, again, it falls on containing the quarterback. Jacoby Brissett has broken North Carolina's back running with the ball.
That was their best defensive effort of the year. They're trying to get back to that. They need it here in the second half. And a whistle, and they stop play. This is a timeout taken by Carolina.
Timeout, NC State.
He meant Carolina, I believe. Or was it State? Timeout, State. We'll be back after a word from your local ACC station.
Time for a Hyundai update from the studio. We start with Georgia Tech at Georgia. Zach Lasky takes it in from 4 yards out in the third quarter to tie the game at 14. Georgia adds a field goal in the fourth, 17-14. Kentucky at Louisville. Kyle Bowen to Devontae Parker. Look at him knife through the defense. 33 yards, 28-20. Louisville leads in the third. South Carolina Clemson, John Hilleman with the touchdown run from 7 yards out. 21-7 BC.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Here, Carolina running out of time. They need a defensive play here. It's third down for NC State.
North Carolina State going to spread the field here, try to pull defenders out and give room for Jacoby Brissett.
They bunch him at the top of the screen. Brissett keeps it. He's inside the 20, inside the 15, and down inside the 10. Jacoby Brissett. A gain of 16 and a first down inside the 10.
Well, it's no secret, and it really is in your face when you know it's coming and you can't stop it. North Carolina State spreads the field with 3 receivers out wide, and they're just going to run their quarterback, and can you stop it? And so far, North Carolina has not had an answer.
Again, Brissett is 6'4", 231 pounds. You saw him break a couple of tackles. He's having a huge day.
Been down here 3 times and resulted 3 touchdowns.
Inside the 10, this is Thornton. Inside the 5, Thornton still on his feet and bulls his way down to the 3.
We knew Jacoby Brissett was going to carry a major load today. Who else was going to step up to help him? Shadrack Thornton has answered the bell. In fact, the last 2 weeks, he's been a big-time player for him. Their win over Wake Forest, over 100, and he again today running not only with the big play, we saw the 58-yard run, he's running physically, Tim. He's really, I think he's reducing some of the defensive players as hard as he's running.
Boy, they're just melting the clock in this drive as well. And with Williams out, this could be a door slammer. There he is, hit immediately. Thornton had nowhere to run. Good defensive play by the Tar Heels.
This drive now approaching 6.5 minutes off the clock, as North Carolina State has controlled the football on the ground. This is in that area where Jacoby Brissett becomes the most dangerous player on the field. If you're North Carolina, I would expect North Carolina State to spread him out here and give Jacoby Brissett a chance to throw it. If he doesn't see something, take off and run it.
7 of 9 on third down conversions. Inside the 5. They go heavy. Brissett to throw, wide open, touchdown. Purvis, Tyler Purvis with the touchdown catch. And the Wolfpack continue to roll.
You get down to this close. It's assignment football, and you've got to take care of your assignment. We saw the tight end slip over the ball for a touchdown. This is the other part of it. Purvis is just lined up right here. He's just going to go in the flat. This is a basic play. Play action, throw it to the flat guy. Just a poor job of North Carolina taking care of your assignment here. Walker gets beat to the flat by Purvis, the wingback. That's as easy as it gets for a quarterback.
Boy, and the body language for the Tar Heels right now is not good. Sadie the extra point. And it's 28-0 Wolfpack. Folks, this is not the norm for this rivalry. In the past decade, the average scoring difference is less than 10 points, with 5 of those by 7 points or less.
Well, we've been fortunate enough to do this series for a long time, this game, and most of these, as you mentioned, are very tight. In fact, North Carolina had a 5-game winning streak here that was stopped by the Giovanni Bernard punt return. North Carolina's won the last 2. It's been back and forth, but the games are usually very tight.
That was the longest scoring drive for the season for NC State. Well, the Haviland fan vote. You fans have been voting for your players of the year all season long, courtesy of the Haviland fan vote. This is who you have chosen.
Yeah, they like the Duke as the player of the year on offense, Holloman on defense, Brad Kaya, the outstanding freshman quarterback at Miami. Washington, the corner from Louisville. How about Louisville across the board? Bobby Petrino gets coach of the year from the fan vote as well. I would tend to lean a little bit differently. I like Paul Johnson's coach of the year. I think my player of the year, well, you can't take anything away from Jameis Winston, how he brings his team from behind, but I think James Conner, the Terminator, to me is my player of the year.
We'll see how North Carolina responds. This one will go through the end zone, so no return. That's a touchback. And now the clock definitely becomes a factor in this ball game. 4:21 to play in the third. And it's 28-0 NC State. Take a look at our Haviland defensive shield.
Well, this is a defense that's outstanding up front. And you go back to November the 1st, 8 sacks, 13 tackles for loss for this defense. In the first half of this game, they had 6 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. So that's who they are. They get after your passer.
Now with Williams in the locker room with his injury, a lot of pressure now goes to the freshman Mitch Trubisky, who is the quarterback. He was the Ohio Player of the Year. He was 1 for 1 in that game we did at Virginia, which you mentioned earlier, and that was a touchdown pass in the one play that it came in when Williams was shaken up there. Second down, Trubisky to throw, goes over the top. Back shoulder and incomplete, but it was a well-thrown ball that gave T.J. Thorpe a chance.
Again, North Carolina State has a player right there. Michael Stevens, the freshman corner, is right in the hip pocket of T.J. Thorpe. Ball thrown in that area where you're trying to fade, but there's a look at that defensive front. 7 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. They batted 4 balls down. They got an interception.
Partner Marquise Williams is back on the sideline. We hope that's a good sign. Trubisky to finish out this drive, and on 3rd down and long, looking for the first. They come with pressure again, and Trubisky goes down hard at the 19-yard line. Thomas Teal again.
Well, Tim, it's just a 4-man rush. It's not that North Carolina State is heating them up with extra people to break their protection down. This is man-on-man, just 4-man pass rush. Thomas Teal with a swim move. There was pressure in the middle anyway. Number of players. B.J. Hill looked like he was involved. Teal ends up with the sack, but boy, that front 4 has controlled the line of scrimmage.
NC State with 4 sacks today. Tommy Hibbert trying to punt it away and keep it from being returned. That's a 40-yard punt, 3.6 hang time, and angled it to the sidelines. Well, country music artist Thomas Square and Chase Rice will headline ACC Fan Fest presented by AT&T. That'll be next Saturday. Get your game tickets now, and don't miss the free event. It's held outside Bank of America Stadium prior to the ACC Football Championship game. Visit theacc.com for tickets and details. Thompson Square and Chase Rice.
Well, if you haven't had a chance to get to Charlotte for that weekend, make sure you get up there. It is an event now. It's a big-time event, and 2 really good teams playing in the championship game.
Greenwich, the tight end, switches sides. 1st down and 10. Wolfpack. This is Thornton straight ahead. Big gainer across midfield into Carolina territory. A gain of 12.
We talked about the key to the game for NC State was going to be play big up front on both sides of the ball. And I don't think that it's been definitive. North Carolina State has outplayed North Carolina up front on both sides of the ball. They're running the football with power and success, and they're getting after the other team's passer with success. 323 yards rushing now for the Wolfpack.
I don't know about you, Parker, but this looks like the best game that they have played all year. I know they put one heck of a half together against Florida State, but wow. Here's Thornton around the left side, and another big gainer. Lucky they didn't get a flag for a late hit out of bounds. Let's go back to the studio, check in with Tom.
Tim, it's a Hyundai update from South Carolina at Clemson. 4th and goal for the Gamecocks. Dylan Thompson's pass is incomplete. Tigers lead in the 4th, 28-10. Tim?
All right, Tom, thank you.
That's been a lot of suffering for the Clemson Tigers in that series. 5 consecutive losses to the Gamecocks. Looks like they've got a chance to maybe stop that streak.
Here's what I was talking about, partner. Watch out of bounds.
Yeah, you figured that maybe some of that Smiley comes in the safety, number 3. A little late hit on Thornton. But the penalty was not against North Carolina. North Carolina was against North Carolina State's bench.
It was holding.
Oh, was it a holding call?
Yeah.
Sorry, there was a number of players that came off North Carolina State's bench there and were jawing at Smiley.
Yeah, no call on the sidelines. Holding against NC State. Moves them back. Makes it 1st and 20. This is Samuels. Samuels had some nice runs in the first half. Been quiet here in the second. That's a gain of 1. Good play there by Kedrick Davis. Let's go down and check in with Rachel.
Yeah, guys, Marquise Williams is up and running now. They just had him on the training table. He's got his nose bandaged up. The trainers were grabbing on the outside of his right leg. He nodded to them. He got up, started to walk, and now he's headed back towards the left side of the bench, presumably get checked out again to see if he can come back in.
Actually, I think he's headed to the locker room, Rachel. He's headed down the sideline. Looks like they're going to take him in.
Brissett again. Strike. This time to Bo Hines. 1st down, NC State.
Well, a lot of times, if you're going to get a chance to play in the backfield, you've got to be able to pick up the blitz. And a good job by Days. Matt Days, 21, gives Jacoby Brissett the chance to thread the needle to his top receiver, Bo Hines. Well, he hasn't been asked to throw the ball much. I think that's just 9 attempts now for Jacoby Brissett, but boy, he's been solid.
You know, I agree with you. The way he's going to the house. Talking about Marquise Williams, it looks like he's done.
Yeah, I don't like the way he's gingerly headed to the locker.
Yeah, this is going to be Trubisky's game to quarterback the rest of the way. Brissett, hands off. Thornton, big hole. Carries tacklers down close to the 30. He's at the 31. Another gain of 6. Sam Smiley finally wrestled him down.
Well, it's a classic example of who's going to play on the other team's side of the line of scrimmage, and NC State has perfected that. And those second defenders are having to come up and make too many plays.
For years, Carolina played Duke to wrap up the season. Now North 9, and they brought a big step. Matt Days now in the backfield. Here he is. Big hole left side. Days has speed inside the 20, and the Wolfpack knocking on the door again.
Well, incredible versatility. North Carolina State is their backs. We've seen Shadrack Thornton, and then you shift gears and bring in the fast Matt Days, and he hits it up in there for a 1st down for North Carolina State.
And that'll bring the 3rd quarter to a close. The hands go up. 4th quarter. A rivalry game. So far, the best part of the Wolf is the pack. They have come swarming today as a team. Carolina, is there time to come back? It's a big hole. 28-0.
In a rivalry game, you got to bring your A game, and NC State certainly did that. Jacoby Brissett has been phenomenal. 3 total touchdowns, over 200 yards of total offense. Shadrack Thornton running the football, 152 yards and a TD. And on the defensive side of the ball, they broke out a big can. They got after the quarterback. Pharaoh McKeever, 2 tackles for loss. And how about Thomas Teal, the big fella in the middle? 2 tackles for loss, a sack, 6 tackles. Those guys brought their A game today.
Yeah, no question about it. State has 411 total yards, 347 yards rushing. Wow. And the future, how bright is that future for NC State? When you look at all their stats, their stars, well, they're dominated by freshmen and sophomores. 81% of their receiving yards, 63% of their touchdowns, and 62% of their all-purpose yards underclassmen.
Highest total of fifth highest total of freshmen playing for anybody at the FBS level, NC State.
See what they do in this drive. See if they can cap it off. First down and 10 in the red zone. This is Thornton, and he's had one whale of a day. But nothing there this time.
They just did a nice job. A lot of times when you're an off-tempo offense like North Carolina is, you need to get a feel. You got to get a flow. They haven't been able to put enough first downs together, but NC State's done such a great job of staying on the field. Their offense is just ground this thing and run the football, taking time off the clock.
North Carolina's made a living on turnovers all year. They don't have any here today. Tony Creasy comes in for NC State. He's back there with Brissett. Brissett almost tripped over his own feet. That play was hampered from the beginning when he lost his footing. Norkeithus Otis makes the tackle. Got tangled up.
Yeah, this is a designed run, and he slipped there trying to come out of the kind of plant to go. He's going to show pass, and they pulled a couple linemen out in front. We're going to run that counter play off the left side, but North Carolina filled pretty quickly.
He's a big dude now, 6'4", 231 pounds. Looks bigger than that today.
348 yards on the ground for NC State and just 21 yards for North Carolina.
NC State facing third down. They've made 7 third downs in a row. Breissett's got pressure, steps up, he's got some room inside the 10. He'll be short of the first down this time. Sam Smiley again made the tackle.
Came with pressure, no question about it. Came with pressure this time. They were able to heat him up. Here's Schottmer right here in the middle, going to stun inside. He's the guy that flushes Brissett up inside. And a good job this time by North Carolina to fold back, retrace your steps as a defensive lineman to help get Brissett on the ground.
Nicholas Sadie, 10 of 14 this year. This is from 24 yards out. He had 4 field goals against Carolina last year. Good snap, good hold, tough angle, but he makes it, and there's a flag down.
They hit the kicker. Sadie looks like he's down. Looked like Hughes maybe came in off the edge and caught Sadie. That's going to be a personal foul.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. 19. Defense.
Well, they'll take the penalty. They're going to put their offense back on the field.
Wow, don't hurt those legs. They've got a future at the next level.
Yeah, you're lucky. Sadie's lucky he didn't get a knee injury there. But North Carolina State going to respond by putting their offense back on the field and trying to put a nail in the coffin.
Yeah, let's hope Sadie's okay. He is the leading scorer in NC State history, and he will play on Sundays. So as Ark said, they moved the ball down inside the 5. Got a new set of downs, 1st and goal. And Thornton is your running back. And he's a load. Sidesteps 1. He's close to the goal line. He'll be about a foot short.
Shadrack Thornton has done a nice job, Tim, of kind of pressing the front side and then sliding to find daylight. That was a great example of how he's done a good job of getting play side and then finding that little crease, and that time just barely came up short.
Trying to go to double-digit touchdowns for the year. He is your setback. 6'1", 206-pound, number 10, Shadrack Thornton. Will they feed the horse? Yes, sir. Can he bang in? No, sir. Good coverage by the defensive line. And the feed and feel and fill by Jeff Schottmer and the linebackers.
Good job of showing some pride as a defense, trying to swell up here and plug all the holes and keep Thornton out of the end zone, and they do that. Smiley and Schottmer there to put him on the ground.
That'll bring up 3rd down and goal.
Jacoby Brissett has been amazing in this spread look, and here they are going to spread North Carolina out. I would expect North Carolina to come with pressure.
Play clock is winding down. They've got to go to that timeout. Dave Doran's team playing well. We'll be back.
ACC football is brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the ACC, by Progressive Insurance, and by Hardee's.
Weather in a word, autumnal. And you're looking at the South Building, which is older than any other American State University building. Cornerstone laid in 1798. Most fans that came over from Raleigh are enjoying the afternoon, weather-wise and football-wise. NC State has dominated, and they're knocking at the door again. 3rd and goal from the 2. Brissett throws to the corner. Touchdown, NC State. Tyler Purvis with his 2nd touchdown catch of the afternoon. And let the party begin in Raleigh.
Going to bring Purvis across in motion. The 2 outside receivers are going to run slants to pick off the defender. Smiley has to go over the top of the defender, and he can't get into the flat in time to get to Purvis. Well-thrown ball, realizing his man was wide open by Brissett. And a 2nd touchdown for Purvis in today's game.
Crowd starting to gather over on Hillsborough Street. There'll be some party tonight. And the extra point is good. It started with roughing the kicker. Sadie went down hard. They gave him a new set of downs. And the Pack made him pay. 35-0. That is not a misprint. NC State in a rivalry game came in here and just has laid a whooping on Carolina.
How about the last 2 drives? 23 plays, 140 yards, and you've eaten up over 14 minutes of time. That's unbelievable. 2 touchdowns, just completely controlled the football game. A bulk of that, most of it, 90% of it on the ground.
Well, fans, don't forget ACC Football Championship Weekend in Charlotte, December 5th and 6th. That's next weekend. And on Friday, the ACC Night of Legends will honor the year's class, the Hall of Fame there. Then on Saturday morning, the Championship Chase 5K. That gets the day rolling with ACC Fan Fest. And, of course, the title game that night. For details on all of the Football Championship Weekend events and tickets, visit theacc.com. Carolina had won 2 games in a row. They were saying, what if, had they not lost to Virginia Tech, that they could have very easily been the champions of the Coastal Division, but that's all wishful thinking now. Georgia Tech is the champion of the Coastal Division. They're playing well, getting ready for the championship, and let's go back and get an update on today's game.
Tim, thanks. A Hyundai update. Georgia Tech at Georgia. Zach Lasky 8 yards out into the end zone. His 2nd TD. 21-17 Georgia Tech. And how about this play on the ensuing kickoff, Coach?
The Georgia Tech sky kick creates confusion for the Georgia return team.
Now, it appeared that the Yellow Jackets could run out the clock. Justin Thomas fumbles the football. Georgia is driving late in this one. 21-17, Tim.
Wow, how about that? Here's a pass over the top. Trubisky throws it up for grabs, and it's picked off by Josh Jones, the freshman.
Well, Mitch Trubisky is a young player, and he's going to learn. He's a redshirt freshman. Nothing happens good when you throw the ball late over the middle of the field. First of all, it's pressure, and that's been the operative word of the day. Noel almost gets the sack. Teal finishes him off, but it's a late throw deep. And the safeties recover. Good job by Josh Jones, the freshman, and I know that's an operative word, freshman. another freshman makes a play for NC State.
Second turnover of the day. Wolfpack have gotten them both. And so the offense goes back to work. Shadrach Thornton, Jacoby Brissett, they aren't going anywhere. They're going to stay in this ball game. 35-0. They want more. Rivalry game. NC State wants to come over. They've already made the statement. Now they just want to make a bigger statement.
Well, you got to figure that this defense is worn out for North Carolina. They've been on the field the entire second half.
Our 1st and 10 line brought to you by YP.com, the even more powerful yellow pages. One app, one site. YP can do that.
A lot of window dressing, meaning a lot of pre-snap shifts and motions out of NC State. Created some problems today for North Carolina as well.
Shadrach Thornton spins and turns like a whirling dervish, picks up 2. Let's go downstairs. Rachel Barbeau.
You guys, Jacoby Brissett, the quarterback, coming up and down the sidelines, high-fiving every one of his team. We talked to Doran this week, his head coach, about the rivalry. He said, I don't care who you beat, as long as you beat Carolina. He said, we're simple. Farmers and ag people, they're different. We don't like them, and they don't like us, but they're a happy bunch over here on the NC State sideline.
Well, they plowed some furrows today, I'll guarantee you.
They certainly have. Boy, you got to give a lot of credit to that offensive line. Had an injury to Schooley up front. They have not missed a beat.
And the tractors keep rolling. Brissett hit by Staub.
That's a good stop by Staub to step in there and stop the big quarterback short of the first down. Force NC State to punt the ball.
Staub's granddad played for the Bears. Rivalry challenge heating up on the ACC Football Challenge app. NC State fans there have an edge over Carolina. Download the ACC Football Challenge to get in the game and secure victory for your team in today's matchup. 10 hours still left in that. Will Baldwin will kick it to Ryan Switzer. Ryan Switzer still looking for that first return to the house, and that's going to be interference on the kicker, and Switzer is injured. 39-yard punt. Switzer was going to try to field it and return it.
It looked like the safety Josh Jones is the guy that made the hit, the freshman. He's the guy that intercepted the pass just a few minutes ago, and Switzer's trying to run up to make the catch, and Jones just kind of runs through him here. Number 2 took a shot in the stomach. I think that's going to be, obviously don't want to speculate too much on injury. That looked like maybe a win scenario. Just got caught. Wasn't expecting it.
Now there's going to be a lot of talk about this, and of course in a rivalry game. In a rivalry game, they'll call it a cheap shot and everything. But let's give the young guy a benefit of the doubt here and just say,
kick catch interference, 15 yards, automatic first down.
I hope he was just trying to time it up with the ball coming down and make the hit as it arrived, but the ball wasn't close to Switzer at that point. Timeout on the field. We'll take one as well. We'll be back. Switzer is still on the ground as you see Dave Doran looking on. I shouldn't even speculate on this. I don't know what the intentions were, but I know that Switzer is a quality kid. We sat and talked to him at great length yesterday, and he's you hate to see that at any point in the ball game.
Great kid, phenomenal high school player in West Virginia. He caught his right hand hit in Switzer's midsection right there, and I couldn't tell whether if he caught Switzer's hand or his shoulder. He obviously not expecting the hit whatsoever. See the arm kind of catch Switzer in the midsection.
And he comes down on it awkwardly as well.
He's going directly to the locker room. He's holding that left arm.
Well, the bottom line is, you know, you cannot interfere with him at all, and so you hate to see that. Josh Jones, the freshman. This is the best starting field position for Carolina all afternoon. Morris takes it around the left side and has a first down. So they'll move the chains after a pickup of 12.
Best runs of the day for North Carolina right there on that little zone read sweep play.
Trubisky still the quarterback. Marquise Williams was injured earlier in this ball game. That ball's dropped on the little safety valve. Omar Morris couldn't pick up the low throw.
When you talk about one of the top offenses, not just in the ACC, but in the country, but a bagel on the points, just no yards, just have not been able to move the football. And obviously you give all that 26 plays of negative yards or 0 yards. That's incredible. They give all the credit to NC State.
Trubisky has time to throw. Steps up into the pocket and throws a dart, and it's dropped. Intended for Singleton. Kendrick couldn't hold on.
Yeah, good job by Trubisky. He wanted the shallow drag route to Austin Prohl, their number 7, coming in front of your screen, but it slides up in the pocket. And there's Singleton, makes a good throw. Just drops the football.
So that'll bring up 3rd down. They still need 10.
Now, this is where NC State is at their finest as they tee off of those 2 edge guys.
Well, they're going to lay their ears back here. Here they come. No blitz, just pressure. And this ball is tipped and incomplete.
Nice play by Niles Clark. The corner comes in. He's the nickelback. Comes in and gets the left hand in there and tips it out. Boy, NC State still playing hard on defense. Good play by Lassiter High School's product, Niles Clark. Watch him get in with the left hand. Nice job. Nice play.
So they'll have to punt it away. Tommy Hibbert comes on to punt it again. And there's a look at Bo Hines. You saw him standing at the 15. This is a low liner. Bo Hines fair catches it. And there's interference there as well.
Yeah,
same thing at the other side.
Well, there was some intent in Walker that time. I'm not sure. I can't read his mind, but you could tell on the way down there he was trying to get there before Hines could catch the football.
There's the fair catch.
Yeah, there was no stop in Walker there. He was trying to get there and send a message.
Kick catch. Interference. 28. 15 yards. First down.
Ron Terry with the call. NC State made the drive over to Chapel Hill and stepped on Carolina. We'll be back after a word from your local ACC station.
Hyundai update. Tom and Tommy in the studio. We start with Kentucky at Louisville. Kyle Boland to Devontae Parker, 45 yards. This is his 3rd touchdown grab of the game. Failed 2-point conversion, 34-33 Louisville in the 4th. On to Georgia Tech and Georgia scores on 4th and goal. Coach Malcolm Mitchell makes the grab with 18 seconds left, 24-21 late in that one.
Wow, you talk about rivalry weekend now. How about 2 classics, one going on in Kentucky, one going on in Georgia, and it comes right down to the wire, and Georgia finds a way to win a game.
Yeah, they were ready to shut the door on Georgia, and they turned it over.
Fumbled the football, 4th down conversion for Georgia down close, and they're going to win that game. Tough one for Paul Johnson's team, who's got to regroup now and get ready for Florida State next weekend in the ACC Championship.
Meanwhile here, NC State trying to shut the door on this game, close it out. Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback. Tony Creasy is the ball carrier. He comes around the right side, gets up to the 35-yard line, a gain of 7. Tackle made by M.J. Stewart. We're looking at the potential for Larry Fedora's first shutout here at North Carolina. And who ever saw this one coming today? These 2 teams usually battle very evenly.
We talked to Larry yesterday, and I didn't sense anything in talking to him, but he felt like there was a potential that they would not play well today or be shut out today. And you got to temper that. You got to put a lot of credit, give a lot of credit to North Carolina State. You say a team doesn't play well, that maybe takes some of the accolades away from the team that's playing well. North Carolina State is playing extremely well, and they've beaten North Carolina today. But North Carolina has not been able to operate on the offensive side of the ball. You mentioned it, Tim, the break between the games. Dave Dorn's team had a week off to get prepared. We saw some unscouted looks potentially that North Carolina hadn't seen, but that's not the whole reason this thing went this way. It's because Brissett was outstanding today. Thornton was outstanding. And more importantly, the 2 lines, their offensive and defensive lines, have dominated the game.
Yeah, I definitely know he wasn't looking forward to this. He didn't see this coming. They had won 2 in a row, played really well in the last game. They beat the rival down the other side of the road. That was Duke. And so they didn't see this one. Meanwhile, we've got a big surprise down the other way. Hold on to your hats. Let's go take it back to the studio. Get an update on that Georgia Tech game.
Time for a Hyundai update. Final seconds of this game. Justin Thomas, late in the fourth quarter, runs this ball 21 yards into field goal range for Harrison Butker. 53 yards away to tie this game, and it's good. A career-long field goal, 24-all. We are going to OT. Georgia Tech and Georgia.
How about that?
That is a career long for him as well. Wow. This is Nazir Jones, who's still down and injured, a 6'5" freshman.
Boy, Nazir Jones now, we start talking about both teams have a bright future, I think, Tim. We talked about how many young players are playing. Larry Fedora's, he gets his entire offense back next year. He gets a number of players defensively back, and Nazir Jones is one of those guys that's going to come back, and he's played really well all year long. Their defense has struggled this season, but number 90, Nazir Jones, the redshirt freshman, is going to be a big part of who they are moving forward. Looks like maybe a cramp or something in that left leg. He's been on the field, as has that defense, for quite a while here in the second half, so let's hope that's all it is. He's a big-time player, though.
Yeah, he really is. He's played well. I mean, you think about what he's done with the interception, 3 sacks, a forced fumble, couple tackles for loss this year. What a year he's had.
He's got an interception, had a huge interception in the Virginia game.
Yep.
Against Duke a week ago Thursday night, had 6 tackles, 2.5 for loss. He's a good player now.
And he's just a pup, 6'5", 280 pounds, and just starting to grow. Another one of those grocery bills you wouldn't want to have.
Well, fortunately for Larry Fedora, he's going to have the grocery bill for at least another couple seasons.
He keeps playing like he did this year. That's a good thing. Clock continues to move. 6:40, 6:39. The guys in the huddle look up at that clock. They're going to melt it and use as much of it as they can.
And we came in thinking about Jacoby Brissett as a guy that's going to beat you throwing the football and occasionally extend plays. How about his ability to run with the football? Now, a lot of that is it was him the impromptu pulling it down, taking off. That's an NC State record for rushing yards for a quarterback.
And he started this game and really set the tempo. I mean, he has been sensational all day long. Speaking of sensational, here we are now winding down the regular season. Certainly want to thank Ken Haynes and Jimmy Rayburn, Peter Rolfe, all the guys at Raycom Sports for giving us this opportunity. And boy, Rob Reichley and his producing have been sensational. And Roy Alford's cuts as good a game as you'll see anywhere on television in the United States of America. Thank you, fellas. Mona Flowers, Lynn Covington, Donna Mack for helping us with our travel all year.
Yeah, we're a pain in the rear end, and all those women take care of us like we're their own kids.
They do. 3rd down and 1. They're not going to get there. As a matter of fact, Creasy will lose yardage. He loses 3. Tackle made by Otis. You know, it takes a lot of folks to make this game work, make these telecasts work. Mark Riley and Pat O'Reilly. How about Warner? Warner, man, he's had his A game all year.
Yeah, Warner is the A game guy.
Bringing his A game time and time again. Kathy Campbell, we certainly want to thank Kathy for doing what she does for us up here. Freddie Kiger keeping all the numbers. Been great all year. Great to have him in our lives. Skip McMillan. Charles, you are the best. Thank you, fellas. Here's a high tail wagger. This will be fair caught at about the 14. So a 41-yard punt. Good hang time, 4.4 seconds. And Prohl with the fair catch. Kevin Rowley, Tom Kusimpa, Carlton Greenlee, Tutran, how about him? Josh Stiegel, Elizabeth Condron, Mike Reeves, Brandon Brewington, John Martin, Christopher Reeves, Zach Harward, Pete McIntyre, all those guys. I mean, it's incredible what they do for us. Good return here.
Boy, this was a play that I thought that maybe North Carolina, we'd see more out of North Carolina. Bug Howard this time on the little jailbreak screen, released the lineman up the field, set up a punt return, and Bug Howard's up the field. Just have not seen enough of that from North Carolina today.
Good throw, too, by the young quarterback. Longest play of the day. Here's Morris again. Romar Morris takes it across the 45, bangs his way up to the 48-yard line. Closed captioning for ACC football is brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's bow time. Second down and long. Trubisky throws, the flag flies. This is Prohl. Prohl has the first down. We'll have to wait to see what the flag is. Pickup of 6 if it stays.
Offside. Defense number 91. It's a 5-yard penalty.
That might be the only thing this defense has done wrong today.
Partner, I still want to thank some of the other guys on this crew. I mean, how about Vince?
Vince Hutchinson does a great job as our TD, does a phenomenal job taking care of us in that regard. How about some of these guys?
First down.
Not only is Vince Hutchinson a great TD, he's your chauffeur.
Yeah, he's best wheel man in the business.
First down, Trubisky rolls right, throws into the flats, has it complete. Bug Howard breaks the tackle inside the 25, down to the 20, and Carolina finally threatening NC State.
Yeah, good job by Trubisky to keep the play alive. First of all, a little play fake, and he's going to get flushed to his right. And now Bug Howard shows up for him, and then Bug after the run, after the catch, gets it up the field.
Boy, what a play here. Mars taken down hard by McGill again. McGill's had some really tough hits.
Well, this is T.Y. McGill's his final foray in this. He's a senior, part of that rotation. He's played in 4 of these games.
Another pass that the inside man coming in is Bug Howard. Little slide inside. Niles Clark takes him down.
Another good play by Niles Clark, the corner. He's that 3rd corner on his team. Makes a good play on that bubble screen.
See if they load up this time. They've got 4 sacks today. You know, they've got 16 sacks in the last 5 games. 28 for the season.
Well, you can bet this North Carolina defense, the North Carolina State defense, does not want the Tar Heels to score here. Trying to get the best play possible based on the look they're seeing from NC State. NC State showing potential creeping up to come with the blitz.
3rd down and 15. Trubisky feels it, throws over the top. Incomplete. And a flag comes down, pass interference. It was intended for Quinshad Davis, and he was battling Niles Clark.
Niles Clark has made a couple of good plays here.
Pass interference. Defense number 25. 15 yards, automatic. First down.
Looks like he's going to impede Quinshad Davis trying to get up the field. I guess. I don't see it. Niles trying to get his hands behind his back, saying, hey, I didn't do anything.
That gives him a first down. Trubisky will be taken down immediately. T.Y. McGill got there first. Mike Rose was in on the tackle as well.
Well, T.Y. McGill, number 75, because they've got a number of players they rotate in, they stay pretty fresh in the interior. And McGill playing like it's the first quarter. Made 2 big plays in this series.
Yeah, they're playing like every play is the last. That's the 10th tackle for a loss today for NC State. This is a win they will remember. Trubisky with a timing pattern into the corner. And again, a lot of contact, no flags.
That was a play I'm not sure that had Quinshad Davis been able to get in the end zone. I don't think he could have caught it anyway. The ball was out of bounds.
Dave Dorn still battling like he's trailing. He wanted offensive pass interference.
Well, they tried to get the ball to Quinshad Davis a couple of times. He's just 1 touchdown reception away from equaling the all-time career mark held by Hakeem Nicks.
Inside slant, has it, touchdown Carolina. The Tar Heels finally on the board. Quinshad Davis from 13 yards out.
He now shares the record with Akeem Nicks as the all-time touchdown maker as a wide receiver in North Carolina history. This is his 21st career touchdown. They had a lot of success with that little jailbreak screen, and Quinshad gets the bagel off the board.
Thomas Moore for the extra point. Yes, sir. So Carolina continues to battle even though this game is out of reach. Well, we've been on the edge of our seat to find out what's happening with Georgia Tech. Let's go back to the studio. Here's Tom.
Guys, here is the amazing finish. Hyundai update. In the first OT, Zach Lasky takes it in, coach. But then on the extra point, Georgia Tech has trouble.
Oh, yes. Field goal is blocked, puts Georgia Tech up by 6. And then the pass. Georgia comes down with a slant. Go to the well too many times. The second slant in this drive, Georgia Tech intercepts.
Intercepted by DJ White. Georgia Tech wins in overtime at Georgia, 30-24.
Wow. Well, what a game.
What a huge win for Georgia Tech. I mean, that is phenomenal win for them. Paul Johnson, that's been the big problem for him, is trying to get over the hump against Georgia. Just 10-2. They had not won that game since 2009, and he beats the 9th-ranked team in the country, Georgia, on their home field. In fact, the last time they beat Georgia was in Athens back in 2009. Just a huge win for Paul Johnson. And now Georgia Tech now jumps into somewhere in that 10 range, I would think, with that huge win, and getting ready to go to that ACC championship game against Florida State.
10th win of the year. Down between the hedges. How about that? Hey, we also want to thank Richard Houston for the job he's done down in the truck all year. Steve Fisher for the audio. Grant Dennis, Jeff Anderson, Matthew Bachman, Bill Evans. All these people are such a major part, integral part of our broadcast. Kevin Hensley, Gary Parsons, Phil Shapiro,
These are the guys that give you the pictures. These are the guys that give you the pictures. You get to see a lot of our camera guys do an unbelievable job.
How about Cooper Littlejohn? He's got laryngitis this weekend, was unable to talk. That's not a bad thing. Craig Thornburg, Eric Filios, of course. Here's the give straight ahead. Clock continues to move. I want to thank Tom and Tommy. Boy, they've been great for us all year. We throw it back to the studio.
And all the guys that handle that. It's a Cecil B. DeMille film. It's the cast of thousands.
Johnny Tyus, Alex Farmentino, Jen Roach, Max Brook, Richard Brook, Chris Duzon, Roger Roebuck, all of those people. Rob Chorney. We want to thank all of them for working so hard. And they take so much time away from their families to go on the road, a lot of times on holidays. I mean, it is really special, and it's a family, and we thank them all for everything that they do for us. I don't think everybody gets away unscathed. We have an MVP every year. As a matter of fact, we had the end of the year dinner last night, and we give away the Rooster Award, which is our MVP. And there's Pete. Pete won it.
Pete McIntyre, our MVP of this year. All those guys are all former winners of the Rooster Award, the 18th annual Rooster Award.
Yeah, look at the glasses that Bill has on.
Bill Evans right there, one of our big-time camera people right there.
Warner's got on his A game.
This is not Slick Watts back here. That's actually Warner Manning.
NC State, what a great win this is for Dave Doran. His first against North Carolina. They go to 7-5. Keep in mind now, this has been a tough road as Dave Doran starting to rebuild the program at NC State. Didn't win a game in the conference last year. Now finishing strong here. Both these teams going bowling. But this was a great game, great preparation by Dave Doran getting the win today over Carolina and doing it big. Once again, the final score, NC State 35, North Carolina 7. For highlights and must-see moments from this game and others, check out theacc.com. You have been watching coverage of the Atlantic Coast Conference football on the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports. For Rachel Barbeau, Dave Archer, I'm Tim Brand saying so long, everybody, from Kenan Stadium in beautiful UNC in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.